Welcome, everybody. It's that time again. It's Sunday night. We gather around the Holler Goblin and tell spooky stories. Everybody tap the screen, start sending some hearts. Let's get the stream going. Give everybody a minute to join in. Let's see here. Oh, I think I forgot to fix my camera a little bit. All right, guys. Let's see here. Let me turn my sound off so that it doesn't disturb you all. Okay. All right. Looks like people are starting to catch up a little bit. Let the notification get out to everybody. Keep tapping the screen. Hey, everybody. Hey, Cryptic. Hey, Heather. How you guys doing? Hey there.
Hello.
I was just messaging you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was over here farting around, but I'm here.
Farting around. That sounds relieving, I think.
Yeah, that's an actual saying, and I've always thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it before.
But I wasn't actually farting, guys.
Does one actually fart when you're farting around? I think not.
Right. Yeah, that's the real question.
Yeah. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate that. All right, guys. How was your weekend? Did you guys have a good weekend and a good holiday today? Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there to whom it applies, and I guess those who don't, and to everyone. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a cousin of shooting the breeze. Yep.
Oh
I'm gonna
man.
keep my weird jokes to myself. They're not gonna be good tonight, so I'm just gonna keep them to myself.
Oh, it's okay.
Let's see. Hey, Harry. Hey, Elle. How you guys doing? How is everybody? We survived the marathon week, although I guess technically it's really not over yet until tomorrow night,
Right.
because we're still going. I mean, we missed Friday technically, but other than
Yeah.
that, we've been streaming every night for a week today. So that's pretty wild. Piddling around, that's the one that I always use. I'm piddling. Yeah, and it's not even piddling, I'm piddling. Like that's how I say I'm piddling around.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely pooped, and there's another one for you.
Yeah, sure is. All right, guys, keep tapping that screen. Let's get out into the TikTok atmosphere and get some people in here. So if you are new here, oh, interesting. Weird thing I just saw at the bottom of the screen. That's kind of cool. Anyway, so if you're new here, on Sunday and Monday nights, hello Raven, we gather around the Holler Goblin and we tell spooky stories. It can be a paranormal story, extraterrestrial story, cryptid story, unexplained, which is just weird stuff in general, or it could be a glitch in the Matrix story. It can also be something that is not paranormal. We just want to hear your spookiest spooky story. So, whatever scared you the most, whatever keeps you awake at night, if you think too hard about it, that's the story we want to hear. Guest box is open. And as per usual, my cats are going to have a cat fight underneath the desk because they get really excited about the stream. I don't know. They just, every time I go live, they start fighting under the desk.
Oh no.
I think that they need their own live stream at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Uh, Cats running everywhere. They do get jealous, yeah, for sure. All
Uh,
right. My hair's not dry yet. I'm struggling over here. Let's see. I always feel like we should do paranormal news or something when we first
yeah.
get started. But there, honestly, there hasn't been a whole lot of paranormal news. I used to do it all the time at the beginning of streams over on the other place because there was all sorts of interesting things going on. But it seems like these days there's not really much paranormal news.
Right, yeah.
Um,
I meant to have something put together for tonight, but we had the holiday today, and it was a long day.
yeah, for sure.
Hey, cat mama. I wonder
Interesting,
if,
Raven.
yeah. This one. Yeah, I wonder if Tully's gonna make it tonight.
I don't know actually. Oh, this is interesting. There was let's see. Where was this at? This happened somewhere in Mexico. There was a goblin sighting, allegedly.
Really?
Hmm. Yeah, security camera caught it on a farm in Monterrey, Mexico. A very small creature waddling across a dirt track. Interesting. I'll have to watch this later. I might post this over in the Discord and just watch it later. So, guys, if you are in the Discord and you see me post this and then you watch it and it's bogus, don't blame me. I haven't got to see it yet. So, toss this over here. A goblin sighting. I like goblin sightings. I think those are pretty cool because I don't know, goblins. It feels like goblins could exist. Like they could be a thing. Um, they could be some type of little animal type creature too. I feel like.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I was trying to find a picture of it.
I saw that, Holly. I haven't got to see the video yet, but I saw that you posted it. I was kind of running a little bit late tonight and struggling to get here on time, so I didn't get a chance to check it out, but definitely will later on. So I wonder, what's strange is like I've noticed that TikTok has been really slow. I think it's because it's summer and people are spending more time out and about doing things.
Yeah.
Um, I've noticed though that it's been really slow here on the stream the last couple of times, which is kind of interesting. So may have to do like double time tapping tonight, guys, to try to get some people in here. And if it looks like it's going to be too slow of a night, we might just call it a little early. I do have some work and stuff I need to catch up on. So, children, don't fight under the desk. Go fight someplace else.
Yeah,
Um,
and then well, tonight was or today was the holiday. I'm sure people are
mhm.
kind of. It's possible people are kind of tired, and you know. I know I am. I mean, gosh, I'm
Yeah.
out of it.
Cat mama. Yeah, I was just talking a minute ago how they get under the desk and start fighting every time I go live. It's a thing. I don't know why it's a thing, but it is. So, um, let's see here. See if we can find any other paranormal news.
Paranormal news, like the old days, huh, Sarah?
Yeah. There just isn't much these days, it seems like. It looks like there may have been an Ogopogo sighting, if you guys know what that is. It's a lake monster.
Ooh.
This was filmed in British Columbia back around the beginning, first week of the month. Let's see. Latest evidence of a legendary Ogopogo comes courtesy of a local resident who had been out on a walk one morning when she spotted a rainbow. When she began photographing the spectacle, she noticed something unusual moving in the water. I wish I could do a screen share. This thing popped up out of pretty calm water, and then it started to move forward in. Hang on, let me scroll. Then it started to move forward in that kind of arch that you see popping up, she said. There were no birds anywhere nearby at all. Initially, I thought it was almost like it poked up like a duck. So she saw something that kind of looked like a duck, only bigger.
Huh.
I'm always really let down by like river monster sightings, though, because I used to cover them pretty frequently on my other channel, and I don't know. It's like there would be like a big fuss made about like a recent sighting of a river monster of some type. And then like you go and you kind of dig around a little bit and you find out like, oh, no, it's probably just a log or like some trash or something floating on top of the water, unfortunately. And that's actually what this one kind of looks like as well. I'll post this in the Discord too.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, let's see it.
And guys, if you're interested, like if you use Discord and you want to kind of like come hang out with us, be part of the community, there is a subscribe button here on the screen. You can click it, you get instant access to the Discord. You also get really cool emojis. Hey, there's TJ.
Hi, TJ.
Hey,
Hey, how y'all tonight?
we're good. How about you?
That's pretty good, pretty good. Figured I'd come in here while there ain't nobody coming in. I don't know if anybody's going to come in or not. I figured I'd come in and tell you an old plumbing story I've got. Something creepy happened to me,
Sounds good.
Awesome.
as always. I guess in my years of doing, working for people and working up these hollers here in Eastern Kentucky, you never know what you're going to run into. And this is one that I kind of remember happening to me. If I can, I'll set the stage for you on kind of what happened during the process. Century 21 had called me and wanted me to actually replace a water heater and work on a tub shower in somebody's house that they were actually selling. I guess the people had defaulted on the loan, and Century 21 had actually took over the house to sell it for the bank. And they had called me to go up to check the house out. And Sarah, I don't know if you have been up many hollers. I know you're from Kentucky here, and I don't know how many hollers you've ever been up, but some of these hollers are freaky and kind of spooky in themselves.
Oh, absolutely. They are.
And I guess let me set the stage for you. So I get the call the night before, and I've never been to the location. They sent me a location, a GPS location for the house, and I decided to leave early that morning, so I left before daylight, and I had never been up that holler before. And I got up through there, and I traveled beside of a creek for a long way up a road that way back in the holler. So I'm traveling beside the creek, and it's real foggy. It's nighttime out, or dark. It's not really nighttime, but it's morning time. So I'm traveling up this house, and then all of a sudden I start up a hillside. And when I get up to the house, it's like a log cabin looking house, a big 2-story house, and just real creepy looking when I pulled in the driveway with my headlights on. And I get out and go to the garage door, and she gave me a code that I needed to type in on the garage. That opened up the garage door, and when I typed in the code, it wouldn't work. And I couldn't call her because I've never had no cell phone signal all the way up that holler. So I kept trying to type in different code numbers and never could get it to work. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to drive down the road and call this woman. And I thought, before I do that, I'm going to check the front door and see if the front door open. So I went and checked the front door, and just so happened the front door was standing wide open. There wasn't nobody in the house, but the front door was just pretty much cracked open and nobody in there. And the house was empty, by the way, so I guess where they had defaulted on it. But now the people had left the house in a complete mess. And so I tried to find the water heater, and I cannot find the water heater to the house nowhere. So I finally made my way around that house with very little light in the house. All the lights were old dingy bulbs, probably 20-watt bulbs. The bank had probably half of them they haven't replaced, and the ones they did replace, they put cheap bulbs in them. So I'm trying to get around, and I finally find the water heater. And when I get out there in the garage, I'm looking around, and I see all kinds of odd just odd stuff in the garage. And the stuff I'm seeing out there is just creepy. Like it's like pretty much witchcraft stuff. Whoever lived there was into witchcraft or into something satanic. I really don't know what they were into, but and the more I stayed there and the longer I'm there by myself and it's dark, I'm starting to get these weird feelings in my head. I don't know if anybody's ever been there or not or done that, but you get in these situations where you're by yourself, and then all of a sudden I start hearing things in the house. And by this time I'm starting to work on getting the water heater take loose, and then I realize I've got to go under the house to work on the tub, and I'm by myself, and it's finally starting to get daylight out, but it's still creeping me out because I'm by myself at this house, plumb up a holler. And I crawl underneath that house, and there's plastic laying on the ground. And as I'm crawling back through there, it's like a maze underneath the house, by the way. And I don't know how many houses you've ever crawled under, but this house, when you get under it, it had like part of the house was really low to the ground, and then the plastic was old and dusty and spider webs everywhere and cobwebs everywhere. But as I'm making my way back to the tub, it takes me forever to get back there because, like I said, it's like a maze getting back to the tub. I get back there and take my flashlight, and I'm looking around and trying to see what I need for parts, and then I got to go out. And whenever I go out, I walk back to the garage. And once I crawl back underneath the house, I walk back to the garage and get it open, finally figure out how to get it open. And pulling plumbing parts off my truck, I start trying to head back underneath the house. So I get started back underneath the house again, and for some reason, it's like I couldn't find my way back to the tub. It's like the hole underneath the house had changed. I don't know, it's just the oddest thing. And like I said, it was just the nastiest smell and the nastiest place I'd ever been underneath the house before. And got back there, and my flashlight, when I got back to the tub, my flashlight started flickering. The batteries was going dead on it. I think the batteries was going dead. I don't know what was happening, but it's like started flickering. And it just went out. I mean, probably less than 5 minutes, me trying to beat on it to get it to come back to life, the flashlight went out. So I'm laying there in the dead dark, and it's a long ways back. And I'm like, how in the world am I going to get back out in there at this house with no light on and nobody to actually help me? So I had a torch, so I lit my torch. And I lit the plumbing torch and was sitting there with it lit. And all of a sudden, underneath the plastic, I felt something move under the plastic under me. It felt like something it almost felt like a hand or a snake, like pushed my body. And I freaked plumb out, and I moved the plastic out of the way, and I didn't see if there was a snake. I couldn't see if it was a mouse or a rat. I didn't know what it was. And I laid the plastic back. So here I'm trying to get out underneath that house. And when I get out and underneath there, I hear a door upstairs close. And when I hear a door upstairs close, I look around. There's nobody nowhere at that house. I'm by myself. So I thought, you know what? I'm getting out of there. I'm not sticking around, because it just had me so creeped out that I didn't know what was going on. Like I said, I didn't even see a hole. There was no hole underneath the plastic for a snake to go in. There was no place for a rat to go. And where I'm by myself, I could hear the plastic rattling, but whatever it was that touched my body didn't make the plastic rattle. It like touched my body for just a few minutes there and then was gone. And like I said, it had me completely freaked out. I was kind of in a tight spot anyway, so I was wallering around. It's just a weird thing. That's just kind of something that's happened to me, in these old houses I've been to. So
Yeah, that is unnerving, I'd say, like to experience something like that. Because then for me, I would be like, is it a snake? That would be the scariest part. But yeah, for it to not make noise and stuff, that's really peculiar.
yeah, that's what I didn't understand. How come I didn't hear it moving on under the plastic? Because had it been a rat or a mouse, I've had rats or mice before run, and you can hear them running along the plastic or under the plastic.
Yeah.
But this was one of those points where it was moldy and mildewy and nasty underneath that house, and it had a smell, like a rancid smell. And I guess I left a couple pieces out. I found bones, like around that house. I found cat bones and dog bones, and that garage had all kinds of just weird items in it. Like I I really can't explain to you what the items were. They were made of brass. Some of them were made of bone. Some of them were made of like different things. There was just odd stuff placed in odd spots. So I guess it had my mind completely running. Like, what have I run onto? I didn't even know. But
Yeah. Well, that is peculiar. We
yeah,
appreciate you sharing that with us. You got any other spooky stories?
nothing. Y'all probably heard my Ouija board story and a few stories like that. I've got a bunch more stuff I can kind of let you know later. I just can't hardly remember everything.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for coming up and telling us about that. We
All right,
appreciate
y'all
you.
have a good one.
Me too.
Yeah, you too.
The button's not working. All right, there
Yeah.
we go. TJ always has good stories, guys. Always.
Yeah, he does.
Man, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a slow night. It's the warm weather. It's the holiday. It's gonna be a slow night. We're
Well,
gonna
hopefully
have
it picks up.
to. We're gonna have to talk about something wild and crazy. What are some of the weird conversations? Well, I guess we can't talk about some of the stuff here that we talk about on Discord.
Yeah.
Guys, we have been having like every night for days. We've been on Discord having these wild conversations about all sorts of things. Don't jinx it. Somebody says they've seen Mothman. Well, come up here and tell us about it. We want to hear
Yeah.
your Mothman story. And you've got followers. You can come up and share your Mothman story if you feel like it. I mean, don't be shy, but like if you're shy, it's okay. We understand. But don't be shy.
Oh,
Everybody tap the screen. Let's get some people in here too. Get out in the algorithm. Hello, welcome.
Thank you. So I live relatively, you know where Mothman is, right? Have you heard of the Mothman prophecies?
Oh yeah, we know all about Mothman.
Okay, so do you know where Mothman was seen?
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about Mothman.
I know a lot about Mothman. I actually have a video that I'm getting ready to post this week about Mothman.
So he was
Do you
seen,
have a story that you want to share with us about him,
Yeah.
though?
So he was seen in Point Pleasant. Actually, it ended up being like the day before my birthday that the disaster happened. But he had been seen for Point Pleasant, several weeks prior to the Silver Bridge disaster. Few folks know that he's been seen on and off since then. And I'm trying to guess it's probably been about 5 or 6 years. And it was around Christmas time. Yes, it was. Well, okay. It was blamed. Some people blamed Mothman for taking the bridge. Some people claimed that he was trying to warn others of the disaster coming. But anyway, about 4 or 5 years ago, around Christmas time, I was on my way back from from Point Pleasant to Barboursville. And I was driving around along Route 2, which is the road that is one of the only roads you can take unless you hop on new highways now in the interstate. But it's the road that runs between Point Pleasant and Barboursville, West Virginia, or Huntington. And basically, very simply, something dived at my windshield, scared the everlasting life out of me. I pulled into a gas station. Whatever it was that dived at my windshield very much fit the description of Mothman, like the red eyes and looking like a giant moth or bat. And I pull in the gas station just to kind of collect myself because that was like right in the area that it happened. And go in the restroom, calmed myself down, picked up a candy bar, go up to the front counter, and the lady that checked me out without missing a beat says, "You saw him." I'm like, "What?" "You saw it." I'm like, "Saw what?" She goes, "Mothman, you saw Mothman." I'm like, "How the hell do you know that?" She goes, honey, I can't tell you how many people walk in here this time of night, this time of year, as white as a ghost, and yeah, you saw it, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, yeah. And it didn't freak me out as much seeing Mothman as it did this woman knowing what had just happened. But that's pretty much my boring story.
Yeah, that's definitely not boring. That's actually a really good encounter. We've had a lot of people come up and share Mothman stories, but they usually, oddly enough, I don't think any of them have actually been from West Virginia, from where Mothman originated. So
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting. Also, I have a video that I haven't posted yet, so I don't want to give too much away. But are you familiar with? Because you mentioned the sightings prior to Mothman and the bridge. Are you familiar with the Linda and Roger Scarberry incident by any chance?
No, I'm not. Hang on one second. Cat Mama, that happened, I want to say about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. No, I haven't heard of that. Now there is another
Okay.
cryptid story I've heard about, and I'm trying to remember the name of the town. Flatwoods, West
Yeah.
Virginia. Yeah,
The Flatwoods Monster. Yep.
Flatwoods Monster. Yes, I've been to that little hot dog stand and read all the cool stuff about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite UFO cases. I worked on a documentary about the Flatwoods Monster in 2011 or 12.
Yeah.
And I got to meet a lot of people. Of course, there weren't too many witnesses left to talk to, unfortunately, but I did get to talk to some of them. It's a very interesting place, an interesting town, and love the story. But
It is a
well,
very
thank you for
interesting
yeah,
cat,
thank you for
cat
sharing your
mama.
Mothman story with us. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Cat Mama. There's quite a few incidents of that. Yes, it was before the pandemic, but um, like probably about 10 years ago, a friend of mine had an encounter too with Mothman, and unfortunately, I laughed at him. Uh, yeah, I don't laugh at him now after my experience. I'm just like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we appreciate you. Thanks for coming up and sharing that with us.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Raven. Raven's quoting one of my favorite memes. I know it's a line from a movie too, but I love
Oh,
that meme where she's like, "It makes me want a hot dog real bad."
that
That
Jennifer
lady is so
Coolidge.
funny. Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge. She's so funny. I love her.
Yeah, she is.
She's an underrated actress. Maybe not so much now, but for a long time, she was like a really underrated actress, I feel like.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, yeah, I have a channel like this. Actually, incidentally, there are a whole bunch of people who have stolen my stream topic and are now also doing ghost story streams, but I'm the original. So, but we have the most fun here. So you guys, if you like ghost story streams, stick around.
Yeah, and I hope
um,
we get some stories tonight.
Hillbilly hot dogs. Um, yeah, I'm not a hot dog eater myself, so I can't comment. But yeah, I guess there are a lot of like popular hot dog places around the tri-state. I grew
Hmm.
up spending a ton of time around Huntington and stuff. I actually have family all over West Virginia. So I grew up around the tri-state area, so I'm pretty familiar with it. Just not a hot dog eater though. Yeah, the thing about Mothman is really cool because for 13 months before the Silver Bridge incident, Mothman was literally harassing people, residents of the area. And like I said, I don't want to give too much away because I want you guys to watch the video when I finally get it posted. But there's a lot to Mothman that people don't really ever talk about for some reason. Hey,
Hey,
Cat Mama.
um, Warrior, thank you for sharing your story. I didn't know that the Mothman was still around. Um, like I know everyone knows the history, like back in the day when it was really big and stuff, but I didn't know like he was she, whatever it is, was still around. Like I thought like it kind of died down, but that's I mean it sucks that, it scared you, Warrior, but it's just fascinating that it's still around and people are still having sightings.
Yeah. It could be a girl. Who knows? Maybe Mothman is a moth woman.
Moth lady.
Yeah. Moth girl.
Yeah.
But you know what? That is kind of strange though, Cat Mama. I
And it's
kind of was
so
thinking that
5 years ago. That's not even that 5 years ago. That's so recent.
it is, yeah.
But again, I don't live in that area, so I don't know.
Somebody said Mothina.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
that was very interesting that the lady at the gas station or the person working there was
Of
so used to Mothman sightings. Yeah,
course,
Yeah.
of course,
yeah,
she's
that
gonna
really
know.
speaks volumes about about those sightings. And I'm telling you, the reports before the Silver Bridge incident are really terrifying. People were saying that it was like running across their roof in the middle of the night, and people were seeing it in the woods, like on certain rural highways and stuff. Lots of incidents. So I like Mothman a lot. I don't know if I believe in Mothman. I mean, it's hard to say that till you see one, I know. But I want to believe in Mothman. You know what I mean? Like, I want to believe that there is a giant moth cryptid out there. So, very
I want to
cool.
believe.
I want to believe, yeah. Looks like we got a guest. Cat Mama, you want to hang
Yes.
out for a little bit?
I'm gonna hang out.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
What up? So I got a scary story. It's about Joe Biden being president in office.
Well, womp womp.
Oh,
Yeah,
please stop
thank
with the
you.
politics. We're here for the paranormal.
Get him. Get him, Cat Mama.
That's right.
I don't care who you want to vote for, but this is about the paranormal, so let's keep it that way.
Yeah, some people just desperately want attention and they can't get views on their own live streams, so they go and
Yeah.
harass other people's live streams. Um,
I knew it. I totally knew it when he came up. I don't know if you guys sensed
yeah,
it.
I kind of figured. I kind of figured, yeah. All right, guys, the guest box is open if anybody wants to come up and share a story. If you're new here, we do paranormal stories, extraterrestrial stories, cryptid stories, unexplained stories, glitch in the matrix stories. We want to hear your spookiest spooky story. And don't be like that last guy because we're just going to block you. Like, it's not going to be funny. Nobody's going to laugh. But if you are going to troll, at least make it funny. At least make it interesting so that Chris could clip it and we can watch it in the Discord over and over and laugh at it. Like we're probably going to laugh at that one. That's right. If you come up and troll, we make fun of you later on Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah, so guest box is open. Yeah, I know, Raven. Oh my gosh. That was a good one. That's one of my favorite ones, favorite stream moments. Toenail
Yeah,
fungus, yeah.
that's another fun thing about the Discord is that we have clips and we have clips, funny moments from the show posted over
Sweet
there.
moments, like the best moments. We have all sorts of moments, but
The best
well, we
of.
have, yeah, but we mostly just make fun of the trolls. So,
Yeah. Yeah, but the Discord calls have been really fun lately.
yeah, we've had some. Yes, you do have to be over 18 to share. You can't come up, you
Yeah.
can't go live on TikTok unless you're at least 18. So, um, but yeah, the Discord calls are super fun. We do, like I said earlier, we do all kinds of like funny stuff over there. We've been watching this one guy's videos off and on all week. And that this guy claims that he has like a frozen Bigfoot. And I don't know what's happening to my green screen tonight. It's glitching out. I'm probably just going to like stay off the screen, I suppose, um, so that it's not flickering. But yeah, so we've been watching this guy. He's got a Bigfoot in his freezer and he takes out like parts of it and does like
Mhm.
videos on it. And so we've been watching it and it is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that's
But
keeping it as PG as possible.
Holly's like, no.
Oh, Holly's so over that video.
Yeah. Oh my
He's
gosh.
full of it. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we think he's pretty funny. And then he brings out this one chunk of Bigfoot and he's like, my dad brought this to the dinner table at Thanksgiving one time and it ruined my parents' marriage. And oh gosh, it's so funny. It was
Yeah.
gross, Raven, but like in the best way possible. It was hilarious, I think. You know, we've watched that video like 3 times this week in Discord, that one particular one.
Yeah.
Um,
But besides joking around on there, we take a look at like some paranormal videos and stuff like that. So it's really fun.
yeah. Yeah, we have a good time over there. Um, yeah, Holly had to sit through the Bigfoot, the one particular Bigfoot video. She had to sit through it twice. Holly is a trooper, guys. We need some W's for Holly. I need to make like a W emoji so that we can do some dubs in the
Oh,
chat.
yeah, Tully's here.
Is Tully here? I didn't think he
Yeah.
was. Oh,
Hey,
okay. Cool.
Tully.
When did he sneak in? Tully, how long have
I
you
don't
been
know.
here? I didn't even
Nice,
know.
nice of you to join us.
When Mothman, when Holly. Holly survived that Bigfoot video about a dozen times. Well, 2 times, but it feels like a dozen, doesn't it, Holly? Oh, you've been here for a little bit. I didn't see you come in. Um,
Tully, you can't come up tonight, can you? That would be cool.
even for just a minute. But no, he probably can't because, like, his puppy will wake up and stuff.
Oh yeah. All right, we need a story.
We do.
Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy.
I saw somebody earlier in the comments mention Dogman. I think it was right about the time one of the guests came up, so I didn't get to answer. But if you're
Hmm.
still here, yeah, we do talk about Dogman quite a bit here. We've had quite a few Dogman stories, not too many, but we have had a few.
Hmm.
Um, was it you, Raven? I thought it was somebody else. Um, no, I don't. Probably not too many Oregon folks here. It's probably a lot of like Kentucky and kind of eastern seaboard people. I don't know. You could ask around, I suppose. But yeah,
Yeah.
we do get some Dogman stories if that's something you guys are interested in, or if anybody out there has a Dogman story. I'm always interested to hear those because I find them so perplexing. And I had an encounter one time when I was a teenager that I've wondered for years. Like, was it a dog man? Was it not a dog man? Who knows? I don't know. Kind of seems like maybe it could have been, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Um, oh, Jesus. Um,
Magenta. Huh. Yeah, that's a good question, Magenta. I would definitely say personally I'm a little more into the fantasy of it. But I just think it's interesting. I just think it's neat. You ever seen that meme, Sarah?
what meme?
Where Marge Simpson is holding the potato and she's like, I just think they're neat. No.
No, I haven't. You'll have to send me that or something.
Yeah, but we're all from Kentucky here.
Even if we're not from Kentucky, we're from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm from Kentucky.
Hey Sarah, can you bring up mine? Mine is in the chat, and mine had written earlier that when he takes his dog out for a walk, there's like humps in the ground, and he was wondering what that meant. It sounds kind of interesting. Mine, you have over 300 followers, so you can come up on audio and tell us your story.
Yes, I'd love
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yeah. If that person wants to request, send a request, get in the guest box. We'll bring you up. Um, Provided that you are not driving and you're at least 18 years of age.
And you're not going to troll us.
I mean, trolls make good clips, guys. So if you want to troll. Yeah, some people do have nightmares. That is definitely a thing. Especially if you eat like a handful of cheddar right before you go to sleep. You will have the wildest nightmares. How do you do it? Should be like what is it, Chris? Like,
It's
is it the multi-guess button?
Yeah, it's a multi-guest button, and it looks like two little people on the bottom of the screen. It's usually blue and pink, isn't it?
Mine is, but I don't know
Yeah,
what it looks like. There should be a request button above the boxes over on this side of the screen.
yeah, that too. Okay, I think he's got it.
Okay.
I think.
Holly. Oh wait, I thought that was Holly said that. Um,
All right, there.
Welcome.
Can you hear me okay?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
we can
Oh,
barely hear you.
Very
No.
faint. Can you speak a little louder?
Okay, volume up. Any better?
You're very faint.
Really? Still bad? Yeah, I'm in a bad area right here. Can you hear me good enough to go on with the story or
Um,
really?
are you using like headphones or earbuds or anything like that?
Um,
Yeah, I'm not really able to hear you. Um,
Maybe Sarah, drop him and then have him come back up. He might have to
okay.
reset. He might have to reset his TikTok, like go out of the app and come back.
Yeah, just close the app and then come back. Um, yeah, it was really bad for me. I wasn't able to hardly hear him at all. So, uh, let's see. In the meantime, guys, tap the screen, send some hearts. More hearts means more people, means more ghost stories. So, if you want to hear some spooky stories tonight, let's keep tapping.
yeah. Cat
Here's some
Mama, do you
Snoop
want to tell
Boops.
us? Yes, Snoop Boobs. Yeah.
Tell you what, I don't. All my stories have been told already. I mean,
Oh no, 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 no. I was gonna say, do you want to tell us more Mandela effects
I
that you're
haven't had
convinced are real?
time to research that because I just worked 4 nights in a row. So
Oh no, yeah, that's tough. Oh well, actually, I think we have. Oh wait, is that them? Yeah, yeah, that came back.
Yes. Hopefully the audio works good this time.
Yeah.
Is any better?
Hello? Chris, what do you think?
No.
Um.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
you're still really low.
I got you on like speaker and I can't figure out. Is it always like that?
You might have to take us off speakerphone.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, come back.
Yeah.
Let me check it out.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Alrighty. Yeah, hopefully, whatever the issue is, he gets it sorted out. I'm interested to hear what kind of, what did you say his encounter was? Like humps in the
He
ground or
said
something?
that like when he would walk his dog in the woods, like there would be humps under like the ground by his dog. And then he was writing that in the chat, and then we were like, making jokes that it was tremors and graboids and stuff like that, but it just sounded so interesting. I'm like, yeah, get up here and tell us your story, because I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah. Is that you, Cat Mama?
Tremors.
Like you buzzing?
Am I buzzing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna go out and come back up. I don't know why I'm
Okay.
buzzing.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bzz, bzz.
Yeah, I always turn my volume off on my phone because if I don't, like, sometimes we get guests come up and they've got their volume on, like, wide open, and like where I'm wearing like earbuds, and I have to shove them in my ears or else they go bloop and they pop out, fly across the floor. Sometimes when people have their phone alerts and stuff on and they come up, they deafen me a little bit, and I'm like, and I can't hear for 2 seconds, and then it's like looking into the sun only with your ears. Um,
Yeah.
very, very painful. It kind of blows my socks off every time. Oh,
Well, what
wait, where'd she
happened?
go? Cat Mama, you
Oh,
vanished. You got abducted.
she poofed.
The aliens got her.
All right, there's you know what? Maybe it's because I tried to bring her up at the same time that you did. I'll let you do it.
Oh, Chris, that might have
Oh,
been it, actually.
yeah.
Cat
Hi,
Mama, re
Melissa.
request. Um,
Um, hello?
I don't think she's connecting. Melissa, if you're still here, reconnect with us. Send another request. This is weird. I feel like we're having a little bit of a technical problem tonight. Very strange.
Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I was buzzing. That was my bad. My friend was sending me Snapchats. I was trying to figure out how to like turn the notification buzzer off,
Yeah.
because I heard you talking about when you hear the notifications, it's really loud.
Yeah. The buzzes weren't that bad, but like sometimes people's phones will ring or something, or like, a text sound, and it's just like, oh my God, my ear holes. Um, did anybody around like Kentucky, or did anybody get to see the Northern Lights? I still didn't get to see them. I kept looking and looking. I checked at all different times, and I didn't get to see anything. Um,
I wish I could have seen it.
Me
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Was it like only in the South that you could see it?
I don't know exactly where. I think it seemed like, because I know parts of Arizona got to see it,
In
parts of
Florida.
Texas were able, Florida,
Yeah.
um, just kind of all over. But I'm not entirely sure, like if there was like a certain group of states where it was visible, or if it was like everywhere, mostly. Um, oh, TJ, you got to see it. That's so cool. Looking for a man in finance. I've seen that video, werewolf. That's so funny. I love that. In
Oh.
Staffordsville. I wonder if anybody around here, or if anybody in the chat is from Lexington? Did you get to see it? Because there was just like nothing. I kept looking and looking. Oh, Melissa's back.
Hi, Melissa.
Welcome.
hear me?
It's, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
All right, you can hear me?
Yep,
Yes.
we can.
Okay. I've been up once before, but I got several more stories and slow night if you want me to tell some.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, you guys mentioned the Mandela effect a while ago. I gotta tell you my story about that. Have you ever heard of the flip flop?
I haven't.
Okay, well, it's like where something is going on and then it, like, you have a different Mandela effect and then, like, a few months later, like, it'll go back to the original and they call it, like, a flip flop.
I don't think I've heard about that one. Yeah.
Okay, well, mine was Fruit Loops. Growing up, I was the double O with the Cheerio things,
Yes.
and I remember I was in the store and it said fruit and it was spelled out like FRUIT or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. So I get online and I try to look up boxes of the Fruit Loops and I couldn't find the double O nowhere. Well, finally, I found a really, really old picture, and I was at the doctor's office. And I ran up to the nurse, and I'm like, "Do you remember what the Fruit Loops look like?" And she laughed, and she was like, "Yeah, the double O." And I'm like, "Okay, well, now it's like FRUIT." So I was so confused, and like I said, and I couldn't find any pictures except for one real old one online. Well, then a couple of months later, I'm in the store and I see the double O, and I look up the FRUIT, and I couldn't find that anywhere online. And people were saying that it was called a flip flop.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's interesting. It's so funny because I was actually gonna bring up that whole Fruit Loop debacle.
Well, that won't happen to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Fruit Loops logo did have a double O, and this is the same thing with the Looney Tunes logo. I guess Tunes and Looney Tunes is spelled
Yeah, that one I remember too. I remember it being like tune as in cartoon, not tune as in
Yes.
music.
Yes.
right. Yeah, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know, but I swear sometimes you can call me crazy, but I swear sometimes the government's erasing things to see how far we'll forget.
Yeah, they're
Thank
trying to
you.
gaslight
Melissa said
us.
the same
I'm
thing.
telling
I said
you.
the same thing. Melissa, also, can I just ask you, are you a Gen Xer?
37.
Okay, you'd be like a millennial. All right, close enough. But yes, I totally agree with you on that. Like they think it's like they're seeing what they can get away with because everyone has
Exactly.
collective memories.
Because they think if they could get over on us with a couple of little minor things, then what could they really. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I feel.
Yeah, honey smacks or sugar smacks? Isn't
Yes,
it
that's a good
sugar
one,
smacks?
Jamila. That's a good one.
I remember Sugar Smacks, but I think now it's honey.
Is it really? There's no way.
Yeah.
What the heck? Huh? They changed the Bible.
All right, so you
What
want me to tell you about paranormal or glitch stories?
Whichever one's the spookiest.
They're not really that spooky. I think I told you my scariest one before.
I don't know. Just
Yeah.
yeah. Tell us a couple. Just go for
Okay.
it.
Okay. Well. Okay. Okay. I'll go from the very beginning. Then I can remember about 5 years old. My grandma had passed away, and I didn't know that she had passed away. Well, I was in the pool, and my mom had to run in and do something real quick, and she goes, "Just stand there and don't do nothing until I come back." Well, of course, I wanted to sit down on a floaty, and somehow I went under, and I saw this beautiful, beautiful bright light come and pick me up out of the pool or pick me up and stand me outside of the pool. Well, in the beautiful light was my grandma. And I ran in and to get mom, and she said that I looked like I was pale. I looked like I saw a ghost, literally. And she says, "What are you doing?" And I told her that. Well, I didn't know it was my grandma at first because she grew up in, or I grew up in Georgia, and she had lived in Indiana, and she had passed away when I was like 3 or 4. Well, anyway, I didn't know it was my grandma at first, and I said that lady in the picture saved me. And so I run down the hall and I show her, and I said that lady saved me. She pulled me out of the pool, and that's when I found out the story that that was my grandma. She had passed away of a heart attack, and that was the very first time I had ever saw a ghost, you should say.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice one.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I have another really nice one too. It was Halloween, and I was going around at a nursing home with my cousin, and we were getting candy at the nursing home. Well, he had just got out of prison, and we were going around, and Mama Mac, which was an old friend of the family, she picked me up and she goes, "I've been waiting on you." She gave me candy, gave me a hug, told me she loved me. And she talked to Lyle for a minute while we go back outside to my mom and his mom in the car. And I'm all excited. And I was like, "I got to see Mama Mac. I got to see Mama Mac." And she's like, "Dieter," which that's my name. She was like, "Dieter, no, you didn't. Just get in the car." And I said, "I did too." And Lyle was like, "Yes, she did." And then Lyle's mom looked at my mom, looked at Lyle, and said, "Lyle, she passed away when you were in prison."
Huh.
Yeah. But that one I thought was really cool too because I got to see her one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
interesting.
Huh?
I said, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, though I mean those were like they didn't scare me. Those were like really cool.
Right, yeah. Were you about to tell your glitch story?
Oh, I can. Okay, so
Yeah.
it was a couple of years ago I had moved to a different town. Well, I had made the joke because that this guy that he was my glitch because every time I went to town, don't matter if I was uptown, downtown, around like anywhere around town, I saw this man and he was walking. And there was no way that I could get him confused with someone else because he was like an amputee and you could tell that he had a like peg leg or whatever. So there was no way I could get him confused with someone else. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I started calling him my glitch because I saw him everywhere that I went. Well, one day I'm pulling up to the light and I look at my friend in the car with me and I'm like, "There's my glitch across the street." And he was using a cane that day. Like each day, like he had changed. It was either a cane or a walker. But no matter where I was, I seen this guy. Well, then we pull up to the light, and I'm like, "There's my glitch." And so I look across the street, and he's using the cane. Well, I look to my right, and there he is with the walker. I look back forward, and he's gone.
Huh. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
that was weird. But I don't know, has that ever happened to you where like you see like the same people no matter where you go?
I don't think I've ever had anything like that happen, no, but that is really interesting though.
Yeah,
Chris, he has some glitch experiences, don't you, Chris?
Not like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that one, that's a pretty big one, but I was thinking like just in general. I don't think I'm kind of new to the whole idea of the glitch in the matrix stuff, but yeah.
okay, well, from my taking of it, it means that when something happens like out of the ordinary, and to me that would be like if you run into the same person no matter where you are, that would be a glitch, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
well, that's what I'm taking it as. It'll still be my glitch to them, even if it ain't. But that was really weird seeing him across the street and then to my right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was weird.
absolutely. That is. That's kind of spooky, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
But I always wondered, like I don't know, was I supposed to stop and talk to him or something because he was there everywhere I went? Like obviously we were supposed to run by each other's path, but why?
Hmm.
Yeah, this is kind of funny, but it kind of like makes me think it's almost like a video game. Like maybe he had a quest for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, did you ever see him anymore after that, or was that
No,
like
I
the
ended
last?
up moving and I went to that town a couple of times, but I haven't seen him.
Well, if you ever do run across him by any chance, be sure to maybe stop and see if he has a side mission for you.
Right? Be like, yo,
Yeah.
I know you don't know me and all, but how you doing?
Well, when's the last time you saw him?
Now it's been about a year.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So yeah, and I mean I'm talking about I see him 2, 3 times a day. Each time I went to town.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that is strange. Huh.
It was. I got a mimic story too, if you want to hear that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm okay. I was going down the hallway, and my baby's dad was walking in front of me. So I walked up and I pinched him on the side, and I passed him. Well, I opened my door, and he's sitting at the computer. I look back down the hallway, and he's gone. I look at him. I said, "How did you?" I was like, "How did you get in here so quick?" He goes, "What are you talking about? I've been in here the whole time." And I swear I passed him in the hall. I even touched him. That's the creepy part.
Did you by any chance notice his eyes when it was the not him?
Um, yeah, but to be honest, they look soulless. Like they
Because
look dark.
yeah. So there was a lady came up. I think it was this week while we were doing the marathon. I don't know. Maybe you might have seen it. She had a story like that, and I also had an experience like that. And so I'm always curious when people have these experiences, like, what did you notice about the eyes? Because when I had my experience, the person in my encounter wouldn't look up at me, and it kind of seemed like maybe they were trying to hide their face or hide their eyes. I don't know why I kind of get that feeling, but I think that other lady also mentioned something about it. So I was just wondering if you noticed anything strange about the eyes. um,
Definitely. Like he hurried up and turned his head real quick, and but I did, like I said, I saw they looked like black, hollow, like they had no soul. If that makes sense.
yeah, that is spooky.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure I got more if you got time. I don't know.
Um. Well,
um,
I was gonna tell you, we can drop you down and see if we can get another guest, and if not, you
Okay,
can,
honey.
and then you can just come right back if you want to come
All right,
back.
sounds good. If I don't come back tonight, then you said you'll be on tomorrow?
yeah, we'll be here
Okay, then
tomorrow.
if I don't come back tonight, I'll try to think of more and come back tomorrow.
Yeah,
Alrighty, sounds
please.
good.
All right, sweetie. You guys
All
have a
right,
good
thank you.
night.
You too.
You too.
Um, we did have somebody. All right, guys, guest box is open. Somebody come up and tell us a story. I think that's really interesting about those types of experiences.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. They really kind of boggle my mind a little bit. I'd like to hear some more of those. If anybody else has got any, I always call them like doppelgangers.
Hmm.
But I know a lot of the guests who've had stories about it. They call them mimics, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Now,
Um,
incidentally, though, as far as like doppelganger stories go, my mom had a doppelganger, like a real live doppelganger. And
yeah.
I'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, let's try this one again. Hopefully, the audio works a little better this time. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you
A
now.
little better,
All
yeah.
right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I put my earphones in. Okay, the humps in the ground is what we were talking about. Um, I guess to start out with, about 8 years ago, I was homeless. I was staying in a tent. Me and my wife had 2 dogs. This particular place was in Empire, Oregon, right around the coast. Uh, First time I ever noticed it, it was like suitcases lifting up, and I thought it was a raccoon. There was like 70 pounds of stuff that kind of lifted up, inside the tent off the ground. And I told my wife, I said, wow, that's a powerful raccoon. Anyway, later on, I found out that that wasn't what it was. Um, they're like humps that come up in the ground. They're about a foot round, and they move around very slowly. If you have any wind, any like grass moving, um, it's really hard to notice it. They're very slow moving. The only fast ones I've actually seen have been in California. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. I have seen them move really, real fast, actually, around Keswick Dam out of Redding, California. There's only 2 places I've ever seen them in the last 8 years. But I actually thought I was crazy when I first started seeing this. And at the point of being able to hear them, see them, and feel them, and also watching the dogs react to the humps when they come up, like in the tent, I mean, they move so slow. Sometimes you have to ask yourself if you're actually seeing it. But I verified it to myself watching the dogs, and I've also seen more radical movements by it or whatever it is. And it just blows me away because I've looked online. There's nothing out there. I asked myself many times if I was actually nuts seeing this, but I know I'm not now. I've verified to myself. I've reached out to like Don Meldrum, hoping that he might know somebody to investigate this. Um, in California, it was different. It was like we had plastic around our tent. We had about a 10 by 20 tent there, and we had plastic draped on each side. So if anything come up beside the tent, you could hear the plastic, that way the water would run off. And it was really weird there because it sounded like 2 chickens or something running up to the tent. And it always happens most just at dark, just slightly after dark, or just when it's getting dark enough out to where you can't see. And it's like 2 chickens would run up, and my wife would sit there with me, and we'd listen to this. And they'd run up on each side of the tent. You could hear the feed on the plastic, and then all of a sudden it's just dead silence. And then these humps would come up on the floor of the tent, and they'd start moving around real slow. And I'd watch them go straight to the dogs, or they'd come straight to you. It's like they were, I don't know, interested in anything alive. I know it sounds crazy, but I I swear with my life I've seen this, but nobody else has seen it apparently. I do have one friend of mine here in town that says he has seen it, and I thought he was joking with me, but he wasn't. He swears he's seen them. He thinks it's the gray aliens. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm 56 years old. I have heart problems. And it's just been driving me crazy because I want to get out there and prove that these things are real. But I have a hard time getting back out there in the woods right now. And I was declared dead 5 years ago, so I've died a couple of times. I've actually, they've shocked me back, but I'm in not real good shape, so I can't really, go running out there to prove this stuff. But anyway, what do you guys think about that?
Hey, mine. CH in the chat had asked, how did your dogs react to it?
They would. I'd watch the hump go up to them while they're sleeping on the tent floor, and I watched. Mine was a male. My wife's was a female, little Dotson, and she'd jump up, look on the ground, look around underneath of her when it went under her, and then I watched her go up, jump in a camping chair inside the tent, turn around, sit down, hang her head over the edge, and sit there and stare at the floor, wondering what it was. Um, the most radical things I've seen from these is I watched her lift a cooler up in California around Keswick Dam. Me and some friends were staying on some property there, and it's all solid quartz. The ground is. I mean, you can take a chisel, and it'll take you a half hour to dig a foot deep hole. And I mean, the ground's just solid rock. And to understand how the ground could move like that is just beyond me. I just don't get it. But yeah, the dogs would react to it, and it would actually scare them. But every time I've seen this, it automatically goes to like anything alive, like the dogs or me or my wife. I've watched humps go under my wife and actually raise her up, or one hump go under her and raise her up like 6 inches to where I almost just ahead and woke her up and, freaked out. I've only seen that once, but like if it goes under a bush or something, the bush will lean over. This is one of the ways I noticed it. I watch a limb go down toward the ground and then come back up real slow, and then realized that it's a hump in the ground moving around.
You said this is California, right?
California and right here in Empire Lakes in Oregon, right here in Coos Bay.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, the only two places I've ever seen it.
Hey,
I've never seen
mine.
it. Yeah,
I have another question for you. Did you see that phenomena before or after your death experience?
before and after. Or
Oh,
excuse me,
wow.
before. Excuse me, before.
Mhm.
I haven't
Me,
been back out there since my heart has been, messing with me. No, I seen it beforehand.
That's really interesting. I've never ever heard of anything like that. That's a
I
first.
know. Yeah, and I've been online. I've been all over online. I mean, for years now, I've looked, and I just don't see anything on it. And it's just eating me up inside to want to know what it is. I mean, it's just crazy. Um, like I said, I thought I was crazy at first. I thought, man, I'm seeing things. But after, a couple of years went by, I realized that I'm not. I can hear it, see it, and feel it. It's like if one of the ways I noticed it is if you throw like a hefty sack of cans outside a tent and there's no sunshine to, contract and expand them, and they start crackling. That's one way I've noticed them. One day I noticed one that way. It was a hump moving underneath the cans, moving the cans in the bag. But like I say, if you have any wind, um, you really won't notice it. I mean, because they move so slow, but they move. You can see them. I mean, they move. You just really got to pay attention. And it's just, I just don't know even what to think about it. Like I say, it's just driving me crazy to want to know.
Yeah. Have you seen that movie Tremors? Everybody's kind of saying that's what it sounds like. Kind of.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. It's not. I mean, yeah, it's not like I don't know. It's not like that. It's just really slow moving. Like I said, I've seen them move fast, but
Uh huh.
only a couple times. Only a couple times in my life. And the fastest I've seen them is in California. And
Hmm.
I've only seen them, during one summer we were staying there. Um, I know it sounds really crazy, but I I can't say how much it is true. I've actually seen these things. Um, like I say, I'm 56 years old.
Hmm.
I've been a really down to earth person all my life. As a kid, I spent years and years in the woods. I hunted all the time, and it just blows me away that I would just now notice this, you know, in the last 8 years. Because I've sat out in the woods as a kid, just quiet hunting all my life, and I never noticed it until just like the last 8 years. But yeah.
So I had one theory, but I don't know that it so much applies now, but still, maybe I'll just throw it out,
Okay.
maybe just in case. Have you ever heard of the breathing forest?
Like the roots coming up from trees blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This
Do
is
you
not
think
at all that.
not
There isn't.
that?
I've seen
Okay.
it. No, I've seen it when there isn't even a breeze. You know, I mean, and that's the only thing you'll find online as far as the ground breathing or anything I've ever punched in online to find out, tried to find out what it is. Um, it's just unexplainable. I was hoping, you know, if I reached out maybe with you guys, and I've texted other people like Don Meldrum. I've even hit him up, and he's a big, you know, he's an anthropologist. He's into Bigfoot. I've talked to him for a few years now, and he hasn't even replied to that yet. You know, I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
uh, I don't know whether he doesn't believe me or he just it's too far fetched for him to go there when he's got other things going on. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Um, I but no, but hardly anybody else. You know, like I said, there's one person in my life that has actually admitted and really was serious about telling me that they've seen him because they've camped out there with me out there during that time. And I thought he was just kidding me at the time. And he goes, "No, really, I'm serious." And I thought he was joking until he said it a couple times to me. And you know, he, like I say, he claims it's the gray aliens, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't really believe that per se. It could be, I don't know, but I'm a realistic person. I mean, I've drove spikes in the ground. I've drove, you know, sharp objects, thinking it was a mole or something, or you know, whatever. And what's really, this is something that I haven't said. Uh, when you see them, when I've seen them, I've hit the ground while they're moving like toward me, and they stop every time, back up just a little bit, and then come again, like they're have some kind of intelligence. Um, and every time that happen, if you actually, you know, take your fist and hit the ground or like a stick, anything, you know, pound on the ground, they'll stop for a second and then they'll start moving again. And that's happens every time. Um, I haven't personally seen them now because I haven't been back out to the lakes here for probably about 4 years. So yeah, about 4 years. But I've seen it plenty of times while I was out there. And you know, it's something that you would never notice unless you were actually kind of looking for it. I mean, that's the whole thing. So I could see why people wouldn't see them, but I noticed them, so I can't believe somebody else wouldn't. Um, but just verifying it through my dogs, and I've heard it. You know, I've heard it through cans and stuff moving. I've heard it through the brush, like uh, bush moving, you know, tilting over and then coming back and watching the limbs kind of bounce off of whatever they're hung up on and seeing the hump in the ground. I've felt them go underneath me. I've actually felt them on my butt, okay, but I felt them. You can feel them with your hands if you know. I felt it with my hand move. Um, I've been out there digging in the ground and decided to quit because I don't know what they are. You know, it's actually freaked me out a time or two like that. I just don't have any answers, and I was hoping somebody out there might have one.
God, I've never heard of anything like that before.
Yeah, I
I know,
haven't
right?
either.
I know, right? No, yeah,
Have you
yeah.
ever tried to
It's
record these things?
Yes, I have on my phone, and they move so slow that it's really hard. I mean, you don't really notice it. I have figured out a way, and I'm going to pay some. If I don't die before the time, I'm going to pay a friend of mine if I can get him to believe me enough to go out there and look. But I figure if you set up a grid with lasers, the laser would move on the grid if you put the grid like 20 feet away or
Yeah.
even 10 feet away, because it's only a 1 foot area that these humps are actually circumference that move. I watched them lift my bicycle up like 6 inches and come back down out in the woods. Um, I'm not homeless now, but at the time I was. So I spent a lot of time out there, and it's just, I mean, dead silence and just at dark. When you start to where you can't see anything, is when I've seen the most action from it. Um, yeah, it's just, that's about all I could really say about it. I mean, it's just, I just have no answers for it, but I know it happens. Um,
Yeah, well, that is an amazing story, and I don't think we've had anything quite like that. We get tons of stories here, but that one is completely unique. I wish we had some answers or some ideas for you, but
yeah,
um,
it's not really a scary story, but I mean, then again, what is it?
yeah,
I
it
felt
kind of is scary. It's a little unsettling.
it is really.
Because it's like, is this some type of like tectonic activity, or is this paranormal, or like, who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just really been in question ever since I've noticed it. It's like I tried showing it to my wife, and she's seen it, and she still, it scares her. She refuses to really. She's seen it happen, but she refuses to really take it in. She goes, I don't even want to know about it. You know, it kind of freaks her out. But she has seen it happen, and so has my son-in-law. I pointed out a cooler that lifted up in California. They both sat there and said, "Yeah, we see it." I said, "Check it out," And then they're like, "Do you see that?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And they were only like 4 feet from it, and they were staring directly at it and seeing it. And this cooler raced up, kind of not really so slow, but fairly fast, and then back down. And it was like 50 pounds of cooler, and went back. Came up like 4 to 6 inches, and then came back down real slow to the ground. And they sat there and watched it. And an hour later, asked them about it again, and it's like they were in denial. I'm like, what? What? You know, I, I, I don't know.
Yeah. Someone in the comments said, let's see, magenta. So I actually just Googled that because I'd never heard that term before. But apparently it's a term for any type of creature like moles or I guess like groundhogs and stuff. And he already clarified that he didn't believe that it was moles, right? Like you don't think that it's like moles or groundhogs or any of that type of thing.
No, no, I don't believe that at all. I've done all kinds of odd stuff, like drive knives into the ground right where they were at. Um, just what is it?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, like 2 feet in the ground. I've carried machetes with me and just drove them in the ground right where the humps are, as far as I could, and it didn't even phase it. Whatever it is, it's like it had no
Mm.
effect.
Yeah.
It didn't react to it. It didn't. It just still sat there and moved slowly. So, yeah.
Well,
Um,
I'll tell you, you'll have to come back and give us an update if you run across anything like this again, or if you have another experience, or maybe if you just find out like what the cause of it was. And
okay.
also, interestingly enough, a lot of times we get people on here with unique stories, and then somebody will come up shortly thereafter with a similar story. So if you stick around and listen and like kind of tune into the streams, you may just come across somebody that's had a similar experience to you. That seems to happen a lot here, so it's kind of like magic. It's TikTok magic. But we
Okay.
really appreciate you sharing that with us, and I hope that you're able to figure out what it is so you can come tell us.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for answers. It's just
Yeah,
something I haven't been able to answer.
yeah.
And okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
sharing that with us.
You bet. I'll call you and
Very cool. Magenta, if he's like in the comments, feel free to kind of converse with him on this. If you know maybe something, maybe you have some information that might help. I don't know. I've never heard of anything like that before.
Yeah, yeah. Werewolf in the comments said that they could be tunneling gnomes.
Tunneling gnomes. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Um, Two Smokes, I see you down there. Where have you been? You've been hid out, not coming to the streams.
You need to tell us another story.
And I don't know about that, but we do love Two Smokes, though he is our good luck treasure troll. You guys remember those little treasure trolls with the fluffy hair and the little gemstone belly button? That's Two
Yes.
Smokes. He's our treasure troll.
Um,
Um, Go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna tell you guys something really quick before we brought up another guest. This isn't really paranormal, but it's kind of funny, and I think Tolly might get a kick out of this. There's a guy here in El Paso, Texas. He walks around. He walks all over the city dressed as the Undertaker, like from WWF, and he's got like the championship belt like swung over his shoulder and everything.
Okay, this is going to sound weird, but you next time you see this guy, you got to ask him if he used to live in Eastern Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, you know what's funny? I was actually gonna like try to go look for him. It's kind of like it's not super rare to see him, but you don't see him all the time. But I was gonna go try to look for him and see if he'd want to do like an interview on my YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh.
I'll have to post some pictures of him on the Discord because there's been like sightings of him.
We used to, in Sandy Hook, we used to have a ninja. And this person, they would wear like a TV ninja costume.
Hmm.
And it was so funny because like I saw him all the time, and I think he was a younger person or something. I'm not entirely sure because he was wearing a costume, but I saw one time his mom, maybe I guess, in a van drove up to the dollar store, and before she could even stop the van, he tuck and rolled
Hmm.
out of the van and across the ground to go into the dollar store. And me and my nephew laughed about that for years, like for years we talked about that nonstop. It was like one of the funniest things we had ever seen. We also saw him do some ninja moves, some Judy chops. You guys know
Yeah,
about Judy chops?
right.
Oh my god, I don't know. It was crazy. It was exciting. Not a lot happens in Sandy Hook, Kentucky, so this was a big deal for us.
Right, yeah.
Guys, tap the screen. Hello, welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
That was a funny story about the Undertaker. But I got a weird story about what happened to me and my wife a couple of months back. Um, we had a dog that we had for like 9 years and passed away like 6 months after our other dog passed away that we had for 10 years. And we got them both cremated, right? Because I live out in a ranch and I live on, on somebody else's property. So if I ever leave, I didn't want to just bury the dog and leave him behind. So we got him cremated, but we got him cremated at a mortuary or what I think it was, or funeral home, whatever it's called. And the first dog we got cremated, it was fine, nothing, no weird experience or anything. The second time we got a dog cremated there, the night we brought it back, and nothing ever really it didn't click to us at that time, but we brought it back. And the same night we noticed one of our lights on inside the house that we never have on, so we turned it off, and then we just, oh, okay, let's go to bed. So that night we were asleep. We had the bedroom door open, and I have a blue heeler. He's about a year and a half old, and he would sleep at the foot of the bed. Well, he got up growling like ugly at the corner, looking at the doorway. And I opened my eyes. I looked that way, and I see a person standing there. And to me, it seems like a lady, bigger set lady. But the weird thing about it is she had like it looked like cracks, and it was orange inside the cracks, like almost like an orange light. And I said, "What the heck is that?" And when I said that, it moved away from the doorway. I jumped up, turned on the lights. There was nothing there. And for like 4 or 5 days after that, we were noticing lights on. They were turning on and off. I put a game camera up in the living room. Maybe I'd catch something. Nothing. My dog be growling at the door underneath. We started sleeping with the door closed. He'd be growling underneath the door. I don't know, just crazy growling, like his hair standing up, like he wanted to, hurt something. But that's I don't know what it was. It's unexplained to me. That was my first experience.
That's really creepy.
Yeah. I noticed like the third or fourth day he quit eating. My dog didn't want to eat nothing. To me, it seemed like he was like on watch or something. Like for like 4 or 5 days, he would just get a couple of bites to eat, and his food would be stay there. And he'd be running around the house like back and forth, like to the corner, looking around, growling randomly. It was so weird. But I came to the conclusion that it was the urn that the ashes were in. That maybe I said maybe something attached to it at the funeral home, and that we brought it home with our dog or whatever. So I buried it. I buried the urn like a few hundred yards from the house, and the day that I buried the urn, everything stopped. Like the dog wasn't growling no more. The lights weren't turning on no more. Like, I don't know. It's just really weird to me. Any explanations?
Never. We never have explanations for the paranormal, but we do love the stories.
We're not experts, so we're just here to listen. Every now and then we can give a little bit of advice, especially when we have our other regulars, but they're not here tonight.
Uh-huh.
You guys, wait. CH is on a roll tonight. 'Cause CH said that maybe someone's ashes got mixed in with the dog's ashes.
That's what I was thinking, but that's not possible.
Yes, it is, because like when you cremate somebody, you don't always get everything in the urn, or whatever they do. I think they put it in a box first, and then they put it in an urn. So there's
Yeah.
always going to be remnants of the previous remains in that oven.
Hmm.
I don't think they do like a full wash and of the remains. They just keep putting the bodies in bodies.
So I guess they just brush it out, huh? They brush out like with a little broom or whatever what they can, and then that's what I've spoke to some people, and that was what they said. And we looked at the ashes of both dogs, and one looks totally different from the other one. And they were like little 6-pound dogs, like they weren't big dogs at all. And there was like the one that we were suspecting something was attached to it. It had bigger chunks of like it. To me, it looked like bone, but like I can't explain it. It wasn't ash, but it was ash, but it looked like bone, like bigger chunks. You know what I mean? Like I know there wasn't a bone that big in my dog. You know what I mean? And another thing I can think of was, we took it midday, and they told us that would be ready the next day. But then they called us, a couple hours later, they told us it was ready. So, I don't want to think like this, but I said, for all I know, they threw my dog away and just scooped in somebody's ashes and sent them to me,
I have, if you're having all this weird stuff happening after you got the ashes back.
Yeah, see, that's what a bunch of people said, take the ashes back to him, tell him you don't want them. But, and, I never felt threatened by by like what do you say, like the experiences. I never felt threatened, but I telling my wife, maybe it's somebody that doesn't even know where the heck they're at. They came we brought them back with us, and they're wondering what the heck. the part that scared me was like, it looked like a lady. The shadow looked like a lady, but it had like, like molten lava, like orange underneath. It was so weird, like cracked. And I said, "What the heck is that?" And it moved away from the door, and my dog was growling at the foot of the door, at the foot of the bed, towards the door. So
Yeah,
he saw something.
that's a big no for me. That would have creeped me out. Um, gosh.
Yeah, no, it was scary. And then I live maybe 6 miles from town, in the middle of nowhere. I live in the middle of a ranch, and
Mhm.
I live on the edge of the highway, like off the highway, and right next to where I live, there was a car accident there. A guy passed away in a car accident. Like there's
Uh-huh.
a little memorial for him, like right by my back, by the road, right by my back door. So kind of weird. But it wasn't a man that I saw. It had to have been a lady.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's just like creepy to me. I know you said you didn't feel threatened by it, but I would have been tripping out.
Yeah, it moved our. We noticed our laundry detergent was moved from. We have like a shelf above our washer and dryer, and it was moved to the opposite side of the washroom. Like it's just me and my wife. There's no explanation for that. Um, the game camera I had was just taking. I mean, this is kind of maybe it wasn't. It was just a camera, but the game camera was taking black and white photos. And the day that I took the urn out of the house, it started taking color photos, which I don't see how that happened either. But yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So
That is
I'm glad it
for
hasn't
sure.
happened again, though.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's pretty much the only paranormal I've ever experienced.
Oh,
Very
that's
cool.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell my friends, I work with a bunch of people, and I over here, and I tell them, I've always believed it, but I never seen it with my own eyes, and now I know it's true. You know what I mean? So somebody that doubts it, they've never seen it before.
Yeah. Yeah, it works that way for sure. But we appreciate you coming up. Those were really interesting stories, and thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing it with us.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Cool.
Amazing. We've had a lot of great stories tonight. Wow.
Yeah.
And here I was
Yeah.
thinking it was going to be slow like last night, but we've had a lot of really good ones. And that one is, I don't, there's just something about that one that really kind of like wow, I've never heard, but I mean it makes perfect sense because if you think about it, if like an energy is trying to like communicate something to you, maybe that would be the way they do
Yes.
it. All right, guys, guest box is wide open, waiting for its next guest. I started to say something else, but just to be funny, but I don't think I can. I don't know. I don't know anymore, TikTok, what you'll let me say. Definitely want to
Right.
follow the
Yeah.
guidelines, though. um, yeah, that's what I wanted to say, Cat Mama, but I don't even know anymore. I always feel so uncertain about my words right seconds before they come out of my mouth. All right, if you are new here, we do paranormal stories, extraterrestrial stories, cryptid stories, unexplained, which is just weird stuff in general, and glitch in the matrix stories. We also will listen to your story if it's just something totally off the wall, but also scary. We'd like to hear that, actually. Bonus points if it's a Loch Ness monster story. Extra bonus points if it happened in Loch Ness. We have a Discord if you guys are interested in that. Hit the little subscribe button somewhere on the screen. I think it's on the bottom, maybe. For the very low price of like $2 or something like that, you can come and be part of the community where we do all the coolest things. You also get these awesome emojis that you guys see in the comments section. I keep saying we're going to do tarot readings, but like over on the Discord. But I don't know if anybody's really interested in that. Chris says he
We
is, but I feel
are.
like I know Chris too well. Like I feel like I can't read his tarot cards because then I'll be distracted by like things I already know about him. And also like I don't know. I have weird opinions about tarot cards, but we can do those anytime anybody actually wants to.
Yeah.
So that is also a feature for subscribers. Just throwing that out there. Although we haven't got to do one yet, but we will. We will in the future. It'll be awesome. Yeah, so I'm seeing some. Yeah, we'll have to do that, guys. We'll have to do one soon because I'm eager to do it. I'm also nervous to do it, but I'm excited about it. So, um, what else? Follow Chris. Chris does horror art. I have trouble saying that word with my accent. Horror art. If I say it in a funny voice, it's a little easier.
You say it fine.
I feel like I don't. Sometimes I get self conscious about my accent, and then I'm just like, I don't. Sometimes people are like, "What? What did you say?" Also, I worry about the AI bots not knowing exactly what I said.
Right.
But he does scary movie art, we'll say, and it's awesome, and you guys should check it out. Chris is very talented, and give him a follow. And if you are in the market for cool masks and stuff like that, definitely check out Chris. You might want to buy something off of him. Um, what else? I don't think Cat Mama wants anybody to follow her. She's just here for the cats.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful about that because, like, I always remember that time. I was like, everybody go follow Tully. And he's like, no, this is my
Well, I
personal
don't do
account.
content, but I would like to get to 1,000 so I could do video chat.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Just don't do
So
content.
everybody go follow Cat Mama. Let's get her up to 1,000 so she can cam on. And the guest box is still open. We've had so many
Yeah.
terrific stories tonight. I want to hear. We've had unique stories tonight too. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Hello, Druid. Um, let's see. So, if anybody out there has a spooky story, we definitely want to hear it. Feel free to hop in the box, come up and share with us. Um,
Speaking of people being able to get on cam, guess what I finally got?
Cam access.
I did.
Cool.
Yep. So, if ever there's a point where you want to see some of the cool stuff I've been talking about, I can finally do it.
Yeah, for sure. Show us some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know as far as like the TikTok rules about bladed objects.
Maybe not that kind of cool stuff.
I've got a staff I can show you and stuff like that. Yeah. I'll wait until, like, there's not people doing whatnot, though. And also, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Indeed.
Yes. Like Cat Mama.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cat mother.
Hi, Holly.
Yeah, we've had some great stories tonight. I'm still thinking about the one with the creatures in the ground. Like, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that again and like try to Google along with the story because I'm just so perplexed by that. That's strange.
Druid, have you ever heard of anything like that?
Of what? Sorry?
Some guy came on here and said that that he would see that he God, I don't even know how to say it. That he would see like a little. Sarah, can you explain it? Because I'm having trouble here for some reason.
So I don't know if I can retell it, but no, I mean it was really cool. Like you guys will see the replay if you're interested in it, but like it's amazing. It's probably one of
Have
the
you seen
strangest-
Tremors, Drew?
Yes, I have.
So he said he would basically see that like little like things moving
Underneath the ground.
Okay.
And he said that he was like by the coastline, the California and the Oregon coastline. And
kind of
he
where
said-
I'm at, yeah.
Yeah, and he said that like the ground would move by itself, and it would move the like stuff around because he used to be living in a homeless encampment, and he didn't know what that was, and he was trying to find out what that was all about.
any number of logical explanations for that. One would be possibly like root systems and whatnot. I've
I
seen.
asked him about that, and he
Yeah.
said definitely not.
Hmm.
And his dogs reacted to it as well. So, and his wife saw it. And so, like anything that we could think of, like somebody in the comments was like maybe moles, groundhogs, that type of thing. He
Yeah.
said it definitely wasn't that. So we tried to collectively think of anything we possibly could, but it just doesn't fit the bill.
I
So
would have to look into some of the folklore of like the Native Americans within the regions and see if there's anything that they might possibly know about that kind of stuff. As far as things underground, I mean, there's definitely stories of different creatures that live beneath the earth. I don't know if they move the ground though. That one escapes me. Not necessarily. Well, yeah. I mean, if you want to get technical, spooks, the term she, like banshee, basically means of the mounds, people of the mounds. So therefore, the she, as in the fae, as in the good neighbors, at least in my practice, the story essentially goes that they were the final invasion into Ireland before the coming of what we now know of as the Celts, which were the Milesians. And when the Milesians defeated the Tohodadonin in battle, they basically said, all right, so we've kind of come to a point where either you can take the above ground or the below ground. And there was a deal struck where the she ended up taking the beneath the earth. And that's where we get the idea of, the Fae living beneath the earth and their kingdoms and whatnot. And leprechaun actually comes from a very old bastardization of Luchharpain, which means little stooping Luch. It was a demonization of our god of many skills, which was Lulamfota, who became basically like the king of the Fae after Balor had slain Nuada of the Silver Arm. Yeah.
I hope that guest is still here. I told him that sometimes, I think Chris mentioned that, like, I don't know what's going on with my green screen tonight. We told him that sometimes, folks do come up that have, like, maybe some different ideas. Because he said really he just wanted to know what it was because, I mean, it was understandably very baffling. And we told him to hang around. So I don't know if he's still here. But I may definitely clip that one because it was just such a good story. And yeah, for sure, you guys will have to watch the replay of it. And then also, I wanted to say, I don't know if I got to say this a minute ago because I'm trying to remember like a dozen things at once. But pretty lady, you asked me what a Judy chop is. Look up the West Virginia Ninja. If you know, you know. I don't really remember anything about that video except the Judy chops, and I love it, and I still use that word or phrase to this day. I'm a big nerd.
Yeah. You are.
West Virginia Ninja. I am, for sure.
No.
Also, somebody, I think it was Jeffrey something in the comments, I think might have a story, but I've lost him. I don't see him now, so I don't know if he's still here. But guys, the guest box is open if anybody wants to come up and share a spooky story. And if you're new here, we do paranormal, extraterrestrial, cryptid, unexplained in general, just any type of weird off the wall stuff. And we also do Glitch of the Matrix. Bonus points for Loch Ness Monster Story. Extra bonus points if it really happened in Loch Ness. So come on up. Tell us your story. We definitely want to hear it. We do ask that you're mindful of your language. You have to be at least 18 years old and you have to have 200 followers to go live. Other than that, we want you to come up and share with us. So get up here. Tell us a story. You know you want to. We had a good Mothman story earlier, guys.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, that one was a good one. I got excited for a minute too because I was like, oh wait, she knows about what happened before the Silver Bridge, so maybe she knows about because I would love to ask somebody about some of the bunker sightings.
Hmm.
Because not Bigfoot, Mothman was hanging around some bunkers, and he was spotted quite a few times. And I don't know. I'd love to talk to some more eyewitnesses from around West Virginia. Because have you noticed the Mothman stories we tend to get here? They usually are not from West Virginia. Oddly enough, what's up with that?
The downside about the Mothman mythos is the fact that usually if Mothman appears, it means that there's some type of terrible event that is going to happen afterwards.
Yeah, and that is the common belief, but also at the same time, if you take into account the sightings started over a year before the bridge collapse. And he was just kind of harassing people in town. He was following people, and there were all these sightings. Of course, people were terrified of this ginormous creature flying around outside their car window on dark highways. But I don't know. It just makes me wonder if maybe, with the case of the Silver Bridge, maybe Mothman was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he got blamed for being a bad omen when really he's just a cryptid creature. Who knows? I don't know. All right, we got spooks.
So
Hello, welcome.
I had to come up because I'm from West Virginia.
Oh, cool.
I live an hour away from Point Pleasant, which is originally where Mothman is from.
Right.
I mean, we even have a Mothman festival for him.
Is that what the statue?
Yeah, where they place the money in his crack.
And they touch his butt?
Yeah. I think it's wild. But he has been seen before. I don't know if you're familiar with the 29 coal miners collapsing.
Sounds familiar.
There was a few that said that they had seen him. This is just going off of word and, local. But before the 29 miners, before that happened, that tragedy happened, he was supposed to be seen. And he was seen as a warning. What happened is 29 coal miners got trapped in a mine and their lives were taken. There's a memorial of them. They were never rescued. And beforehand, it is said that they had seen him beforehand and didn't really think nothing of it. And this is only going off, like I said, local.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I'm sorry, I have a horrible memory. You're the one that came up last night with the picture, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I do local history around where I am at.
Yeah.
I just started getting back into it. Like I said last night. But yeah, I'm from West Virginia, and I was up here last night of the picture about the church.
We were talking about that on the Discord last night, and I ended up I ended up drawing out the skeletal face guy in the picture.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I posted that on the Discord, but yeah, that was a really interesting picture. Really creepy.
Yeah, that's kind of why I got started in the whole thing. Like I said, I do a lot of local history. I'm big into history around my area. I do it as a hobby. I mean, I'm a mom, so when I get my free time, I go out and I look at the legends and graves and land. There is a mine site that I'm supposed to be going to. It's stairs are 800 down to the mine site, and it is all the way off of a mountain. And I'm supposed to be going there here soon, hopefully, if I don't pass out on the stairs, because that's a lot of stairs to be climbing. But I go around looking up local history pretty much.
Well, first of all, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
I hope you had a good one. And yeah, that is historical stuff is so important. It is so, so important. And I would say, like, the only recommendation I'd have as far as that goes is keep a field journal and write down everything and
Oh, I
take
do.
pictures if you can, take video, any type of documentation. And before too long, you'll have like like a whole little I can't think of the word I'm looking for because my brain's tired right now. But yeah, definitely document as much as you possibly can, and especially if you run across old stories. Because I'm from Eastern Kentucky, so I grew up in the tri-state around Huntington and Ironton and Ashland. I actually lived in Ashland for a long time. I have family in West Virginia. A lot of our old stories are vanishing as
Yeah,
the older generations pass away. And one of the things that I've tried to do here on my channel is like try to bring back the old folklore storytelling
exactly.
tradition of Appalachia and Eastern Kentucky and stuff like that. And it's disappearing. So anytime you get a chance to document and research, it's you're very lucky to get to do it and save it, protect it and store it away somewhere, put it online, make a book.
Yeah, yeah. I'm writing down a lot of my documentation. I'm very big into grave sites and figuring out, who they are. I just traveled to the Twin Falls in West Virginia, and I'm doing my learning on that. It's a bunch of old graves that were from the 1800s, and I'm supposed to be visiting one here soon. It's an hour away, but it is about a historical slave that was considered a hero for the acts that he done and for the freedom that he had gotten.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds amazing, and like I said, just yeah, it's such a great thing to be able to preserve history too. So
But if you're up for it, I can tell an Appalachian story.
yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
So we were always told growing up not to pay attention when you heard people in the woods, if they would call your name or if they'd call out. And I've only lived in West Virginia since I was 14, and I didn't believe it until I had my encounter myself. I was walking down the road. I had just gotten off the bus. I was in high school. And I kept hearing something say, "Hey." And I'd look back behind me, and there's nothing. And I have woods on both sides of me. I would keep continuing the walk as I'm walking home. It seemed like it kept getting closer. I'm panicking at this point. I'm like, okay, somebody is following me. I'm looking around me. I'm paying attention. I can't see them on either side of the woods. And this was like early springtime, so the leaves are green. I mean, it's thick. And I heard my name. I heard my name out loud, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. And I turn around, and I see that nobody is behind me, so I ran. Before I made it to my house, it yelled out, "Hey, my name," one more time, and I freaked out. I went inside. I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere. We do what we gotta do. And across the road is, right from my house, is the woods. And it continued to say, "Hey." And then it changed voices. Like a woman, like, in need. Like a woman, "Hey, help me, help me." And I'm like, oh my God. Like something's going on. And I can remember going down towards the fence, and I have something with me. I'm sure everybody knows what I would have with me. And as I'm going down there, my grandfather touched my shoulder and he's like, "Come with me." And I know he heard it. I know he did. And I knew that he knew something was wrong. And I looked at him and I'm like, "No, we gotta go. Like, something's going on. I keep hearing it. I just got off the bus." And he just shook his head and he said, "Don't pay attention. Go in the house." And I went into the house and he explained to me the folklore that comes around our area. It was the creepiest thing. And I still, to this day, like, I hunt, but I don't hunt in the evening. I don't go in the early morning, and I'm out of the woods before dark. Like, I can't. But it was the creepiest thing. And I've always been told, if something calls your name in the woods, don't pay no mind. And I was ready to go after somebody. Like, I fully believed that somebody needed my help.
Sounds like one of those situations of, well, if you heard somebody calling your name in the woods, no, you didn't.
Exactly. And I never believed that stuff. Like, I grew up in a very religious household. But my grandparents were always the one that were like, "Hey, if this happens," no, it didn't. Like, just don't pay no mind. And I never thought, like, I always thought that they were crazy over it, to be honest. And it freaked me out when he took me inside, and I never heard it again.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of those kinds of stories. I personally haven't ever had an experience stories, and it's spooky, very spooky. I know my mom used to say when she was a kid growing up, very long time ago, like in the 50s in eastern Kentucky, she would, apparently back then, you just turned your kids loose in the woods and they just went and did whatever they wanted to do all day, as long as they didn't come in the house and bother you. And so she would be out and about and she would hear her mom yelling for her and she would be like, what, and like she'd run all the way back home and be like, "What did you want? Did you yell for me?" And my grandmother would be like, "No, I wasn't yelling for you. It wasn't me." So I guess my mom experienced that, but I personally have never had anything like that happen. Um, I kind of wish I had, though. I always want to experience everything. So
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of those things like, okay, like, is this somebody I know? You know, because I did live around other people, but we had to walk to get on the bus stop. You know, I rode with everybody. And it was just one of those things that, you know, I just got off and was walking home. And it freaked me out. It was one of those things that I can't explain. It wasn't like, well, was it a bobcat? No, it was no bobcat. Like this thing said my name. How did it
Yeah,
know
we
my
know the
name?
difference. I hate when people are like, "Oh, it's probably just a bobcat that you're hearing." It's like, no, if you live in the woods, you know the difference.
Exactly. And like I said, I've grown up with family that have lived in the area for all their life. You know, my grandparents, my dad have lived on the same mountain. Like yesterday, I said that's all they've known. They've never moved. That's where we settled. That's where they settled. And I was baffled by it. Like I kind of thought my grandparents were, you know, kind of crazy until that happened.
Yeah, and somebody else mentioned that earlier about how, you just never know until you have an experience. It's not something you could ever really comprehend until you experience it firsthand. And that's the thing about the paranormal is like, I'm telling you, if I hadn't had experiences, I probably wouldn't believe in it, but I've seen some stuff. So it's just something you have to come across on your own to really get the full effect.
Yeah, especially like
Brutal until it's
I've
not.
seen things in the woods that would fly by me like lights, and I'm like, okay, there's nobody here but me. And I'm standing with the person that is like, for instance, like me walking to my tree stand. You know, I don't go alone in those situations. I'm 4'11". Ain't no way if, you know, I get a deer, I'm gonna pull it out by myself. You know, I don't go alone. And there'd be lights that like flash beside us, and I'm like, okay, what is that? And it's something living out in the country. You experience things that you never thought you would.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of makes me think of ghost lights. Are you familiar with ghost lights?
Yeah.
Will o' the
Yeah,
wisp.
there's quite a few places in eastern Kentucky where people have reported ghost lights. Estill County, I have a video on it. Is probably one of the best known, I suppose, in eastern Kentucky. But you know, it's I mean, people see this stuff. So,
Well,
well, we
any of
sorry.
me going and doing those, I did a lot of my history. And and it's funny because I told my brother about ghost lights. And he went to a tragic area, is what I'll call it. Things happened in that area. And he didn't believe into the stuff that I believed in. And he went in the middle of the night and wanted to investigate and look into this stuff. And he said that him and my dad, or my stepdad, seen lights. And I'm like, yeah, I, you know, I explained to them that, you know, things you will see that you can't explain, and it kind of alters how you think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we appreciate you so much for coming up and talking about this with us, and keep doing your history stuff and keep us updated. Let us know how it's going, and let us know if you run into any more spooky stuff out there in the woods.
Yeah, it's definitely a different nature when you live in the middle of nowhere. But no,
Yeah.
I love what I do, and I do it as a hobby, and I'm gonna continue to do it because to me, I believe in putting faces on the forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Well,
thank
thank
you
you so
again for letting me
much. Yeah,
be up here.
yeah, absolutely. We look forward to hearing from you again.
Alrighty.
All right, have a good night. Um, all right, guys. We got a little less than an hour left in the show tonight. Everybody tap the screen, send some likes. Ali, how are you doing? Ali.
Ali?
Well, Ollie is napping, which is okay because I think Chris might be too. Um, I ain't mad at it, you know.
It happens.
Ghost stories are relaxing and calming and help you
Mm-hmm.
drift right off to sleep. All right, let's see who we got next. Hello, welcome. Hello, hello.
Greetings, but that person?
I think that might have been an accidental request, so I'm going to go ahead and drop you. If you did want to be here, be sure to send another guest request and come back in the box. We'll bring you up. Paranormal ASMR, I know, right? Hello, welcome.
Hello, Zuki.
Hey, how are you? You guys hear me?
We can't hear you too well. It's a little bit muffled.
Is that any better?
Not really. Are you using earbuds or anything like that, or?
I have my phone on a stand. I'm wondering if that's blocking it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. How are y'all doing tonight?
We are good. How about you?
Good. Basically, I pretty much, when I was younger, started noticing like just really weird stuff around my house. So as I got older, I decided I wanted to join a paranormal team. So I did, and we investigated, and this is a pretty quick story, but we investigated at, I don't know if you know St. Albans over in Roanoke or Radford. But
Yeah, I'm familiar with St. Albans.
okay, so we were investigating in there, and we were in the boiler room, and what we were told was that pretty much the spirit in there, and I can't remember the name now because this was a while back, did not like women at all. So we were all standing around in a big circle in the boiler room. And I swear I would not have believed this if I hadn't have seen it for myself. But my friend was standing right next to me, and all of a sudden she just went flying completely backwards into a wall. And ended up with this gigantic bruise on her chest. And I actually have pictures of it. And it was just, I don't know what it was. It just hit her right in the chest. And that was just probably the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Her feet were like off the ground. And I was like, okay, that didn't just really happen, did it? But so that's pretty much one of the craziest things that's ever happened. Another
Yeah.
story. Yeah, I mean, that was just weird.
Yeah, definitely. I have seen one person have like physical contact like that with a something paranormal, and it was terrifying because you know you kind of think that like well maybe that's not even possible, but then it happens and you're like holy cow, This kind of changes everything.
I know, and I was just kind of like, she didn't just lift herself off the ground. I mean, not the way her feet flew up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of crazy. And then, like, I'm from DC, but now I live in the suburbs of DC. So I live on, like, what they call, it's right next to George Washington's house, what they call the Five Farms of George Washington. And so this whole area is, I don't, at night, it can be a little creepy around here at night. Um, and I've only lived in this house for about 7, 8 years. And I swear stuff happens in this house all the time. I was in my workshop in the basement making candles, and my partner, I thought was in the next room, just kind of, watching TV, doing whatever. And I looked over and I saw somebody, a black shadow, and I just, I thought because of lighting, it was him just standing there. So I just kind of looked up and waved. And all of a sudden, I started hearing footsteps upstairs, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So I came out from the basement, went upstairs. I was like, were you just downstairs? And he's like, no, I've been up here the whole time. I was just making some food. I'm like, you weren't just in the doorway waving at me. And he's just, no, I've been up here the whole time. And I'm like, okay, there was somebody standing in the doorway that was very tall and lean, and it looked like a shadow. And no, it wasn't me. He was like, but that sounds like my grandfather, because we bought this house from his grandparents before they died. And so I was like, it may have been. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I thought for a minute maybe you had a mimic story because we've had a couple I think tonight, but we get them pretty often. Yeah, I think we've had two tonight. But yeah, so that's like it's obviously not a mimic story, but really cool. That's very
Yeah,
interesting.
it's definitely different. I mean, because, okay, one more story.
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
so I was actually sitting out on my side porch, and his grandmother, she was in hospice at the home she was in, and we had just come back from visiting her, and we were sitting on the side porch, and it was just there was no wind in the air. It was really quiet outside, and I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I just got this chill. My whole body shook, and it felt like a gust of wind went through me. And my partner, he looks at me and he said, Ani just died, didn't she? And I was like, what? 2 minutes later, his mom calls and says that she had passed away. So that was another interesting one.
Portend of death.
She was just old age.
Yeah, there's lots of different mythologies and legends out there of basically some type of mysterious event taking place shortly before the passing of somebody.
Yeah, and that day we also saw I think it was 3 crows in our yard that day too. So that was interesting as well.
Birds of the Morrigan.
Yep. But yep, that's about it. I have a ton of other stories, and I'm sure I'll be back to share some more.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back anytime, and we appreciate you very much.
Oh, thanks for having me up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm sorry I heard you from across the room.
Yeah, I figured you were probably just like doing something, so.
Just grabbing these crystal wands and literally just doing inventory and like that's it, just cleaning up. But how's everybody doing? What did I miss?
Yeah, you've missed a lot. It hasn't been like super crazy busy tonight, but we've had a lot of great stories, like really unique stories too. So,
Oh, I'm glad. It's nice. It's always
yeah. Yeah, you'll have to check out the replay for this one. I'm going to be doing a bunch of clips, I think, for this one because we had a lot of great stories tonight, really.
Oh yeah, like the one you were talking about maybe Ali might have an idea about the things moving under the ground.
Yeah, Ali, were you here for that story?
I wasn't, or I'm not sure if I was. Spark Notes?
So, I wish Cat Mama could give you the spark notes. I'm terrible at like repeating stories.
I'm here. So I'll
Can
leave.
you? Yeah. Okay.
I had a guy that came on, and he he was residing by the not eastern, western coast of Oregon and California, and he said that the Earth would make humps, and it looked like the Earth was moving underneath him.
Uh-huh.
He didn't know what it was. He said that his dogs reacted to it, and he said it was little, like it would look like humps underneath the ground.
Like something's moving?
Yes, like something's moving underneath the ground. But it seemed to be like kind of intelligent. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
I mean, there are like certain type of fae that could, but that's just doesn't seem very native or anything that's kind of like historically there for that area. Um, but no. I mean, graboid. I'm thinking a certain type of animal, perhaps, but um, I'm trying to collect everything I know about field biology and
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much doing the same thing, trying to figure out if there was some type of logical
yeah.
explanation for it. Yeah.
But I mean, if usually animals reacted to it, and also like if it was predator mode, if like let's say there are certain like they're farm dogs or they're herding dogs and they get in a predator mode, it could be like a gopher type of animal or something, or it could be some sort of if it is spirit, it is going to be earthbound for sure. It's elemental in nature. There are earth spirits out there
No.
that are
Yeah.
elemental, but um, it's in that area that you're saying. I'm not really sure how common that would be unless called upon or something um, out of the blue, happening out of the blue. So it could be like a natural explanation because it depends, and it also depends on how the dogs reacted to it too. I mean, if they were afraid or not.
He said that his dogs were scared of it.
Oh. See, fear is a very powerful emotion. Animals or humans alike. It speaks to a lot of things, especially if an animal, if it's a big dog and they have some fear to it, it's something that dangerous in the ground. So if it's an animal, it could be like something very predatory, like again, like we all know from the movie Graboids, for example. I mean, any dog is gonna run from that, right? So just to like kind of get your imagination around that, and if it is a malevolent earth spirit or if it is a vengeful spirit, it could be. They could be subdued by it, like, hey, we're animals on the earth. Hey, don't hurt us. Take my human. Or it could be my last resort, a fey folk of some sort. But then again, I don't know. Um, I've heard of like I'm not sure, Druid. Have you? I've heard something like that. I might be wrong. Of gnomes or leprechauns, kind of like doing something like that.
I'd see it more with gnomes, I would say, having that type of, you know,
Yeah.
because what we think of as okay. So the thing about gnomes, like when you think of gnomes, you automatically think of, the white beard with the red pointy hats and the blue clothes. Those aren't gnomes though. Those are tomti. What's the other word for them? Nissa, which are from Scandinavia. Actual gnomes are earth elementals.
Yeah.
So very possible that it could be, gnome as in the literal earth elemental.
Yeah. And if they were, I mean, and I haven't really heard of gnomes being that like malevolent, but it could be maybe they were angry gnomes. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. I hope he comes back to tell the stories.
Yeah, I'll probably, maybe not tonight, but I'll probably clip that part pretty soon and put it in the Discord. And I also want to clip it for like, where I just kind of throw up the replays and stuff. But you guys have got to hear that. That was a crazy story. And he was here for a little bit, but I think he might have left. But I told him to come back because, somebody might have an answer for him. But all right, guys, guest box is open. If anybody wants to come up and share a story, we've got a little bit more than 30 minutes left in the show for the night. So now is the time. Don't be shy. Come up. I wish Chris would come back. He fell asleep.
Right.
Man, you must have been tired.
Yeah, he was. He was very tired. Good night, Holly. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Eventful.
Let's see what else. Oh, we had a really good Mothman story earlier. I don't know if you were here for that one. Yeah, we've had a ton of really good stories tonight.
I'm glad it finally got busy. The marathon went well too.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot of fun. I guess technically it's kind of still going, at least until tomorrow night, but we're going to get back on our regular schedule. Just do Sunday and Monday. I'm thinking about doing next Friday too, though, because I want to see what it's like on a Friday, just to see if it's busy or slow or whatever. But also, we were wanting Tully to get on this weekend, and he didn't have a chance to. So we might try to do Friday this week, guys. And I think Tully just said he's going to bed. Or did he? No, maybe. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Yep, guest box is open, guys. Jump in, tell us a story. We want to hear your paranormal, extraterrestrial, cryptid, unexplained, glitch in the matrix stories. Are you too late to share? No, you are not. You're just in time, actually. We do ask that everybody is mindful of their language, and you do have to be at least 18 years of age to share. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm JC. I'm 39. I'm from the great state of New Jersey.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Well, I have a couple little tidbit stories. I mean, so this one was, let's see, I want to say back in about 2005, 2006. And my grandmom, she died all the way back in 91. But she had this house that was about 10 minutes away from where I live now. And she had lost a son in, I think it was 82, 83, and his name was Lee. And he was a very tortured person. Like, he was schizophrenic. He was, off the wall. He was crazy, and he was found unalived one day. I don't want to say the word to, get me banned off of TikTok, but he was found dangling from a light post.
And TikTok, this is for educational purposes only.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Thank you for clearing that one up. So, at the house I was explaining about, he spent a lot of time down in the basement. Well, my wife, she was only my friend at the time. She was very curious about what went down at the house because, my mom would tell me stories of, a lot of hitting, a lot of cursing, a lot of pushing by their stepfather, and it was a really bad area. Well, Lee was always sent down to the basement because of constantly being punished. Once again, he was a very tortured person. Well, fast forward to where my wife, like I said, she was my friend at the time. She was very curious about the house. And we go pulling up one day. And mind you, there's no light around this house. Like, nothing to reflect off of, nothing to, get crazy, nothing to the beam onto this house. So we pull up, we're turning off all the lights and all that, and we go walking around this house. She screams bloody murder. And I'm like, what's the matter? What's the matter? We look down the basement. There's this pair of red eyes staring back at us. I mean, bright red, like blood red. And like, just telling it now, I got like chills going down my spine. But like, it was so surreal. And she kept on hearing this whispering voice. She goes, what's, can you tell us your name? And she had this, what's the thing that picks up the voices? I'm not too good with that technology there.
Like a voice recorder or something?
Yeah, like a voice record. Well, she goes, can you tell me your name? And he goes, tortured, Lee. And I went, my heart almost jumped out of my chest. I was like, that's my Uncle Lee. And I told her a story, what happened to my Uncle Lee, and she goes, oh my gosh. Whoa, like it was so eerie, and like me, I'm all about like the paranormal, the unknown. Like it's something that's always intrigued me, because I mean, you got a lot of people that say, oh, spirits aren't here on earth, they're demons, they're this or that. We're surrounded by spirits. Like you can't sit there and tell me otherwise, because I always say that my dad is my guardian angel. He's my spirit that protects me, But what, oh my gosh, like what intrigues me the most is what's beyond, And when I was told of this story about my Uncle Lee, and then we went to investigate, and we see this pair of red eyes, and we hear this voice whisper, tortured, Lee. And I went and told my mom about it. My mom turned white as a ghost, and she goes, no, it didn't. And we play back the thing on the voice record, and she goes, like, she screamed. Like, she absolutely screamed. Like, I've never seen my mom so horrified. My mom's usually like the one that likes the spooky stuff that jumps out at you, the jump scares, if you will. But this one shook her to her core. So, I mean, I always thought that was really cool. And the other little story I have, it's real quick, because I don't want to take too much time of your panel there. But I was seeing this girl, and she was staying over my house, and she got up in the middle of the night, and she went to the bathroom, and she comes back. Mind you, in this like hallway, you have the bathroom, and there's a doorway to 3 other bedrooms. Well, she comes back into the bedroom after using the restroom, and she goes, who's that lady with the long dark hair? She was just kind of staring at me. I was like, and me, I'm half asleep. I'm not thinking anything of it. And she goes, yeah, she said that she lived here. I was like, yeah, it was probably my mom. I'm not thinking anything of it. So the next morning, my mom, she's sitting there looking through photo albums, like of old pictures. And the girl who I was talking about, she goes, oh my God, that's her. And she pointed directly to a picture of my grandmother, the one who I told you died back in 91. So I was like, oh, well, yeah, that was my grandma. Like, and that kind of shook me to the core. And my mom starts laughing. She goes, you don't understand. My mom only shows herself to people who are not of our blood, because she doesn't want to show herself to her relatives, because she doesn't want us to feel sad for her, that she's in the afterlife and we're not. And the girl who I ended up, the girl I was talking about, she ended up breaking up with me the next day, because she didn't want to be over here because of seeing the spirit. So I always thought that was much more of a funnier story. But those are my 2 little stories.
Yeah, that's really cool. And just amazing. Actually, we've had a few of those stories tonight where people, came across relatives from the afterlife or whatever. Very cool. We appreciate that.
Yes, thank you for letting me share, because like whenever I see something that deals with the paranormal and with like the ghosts and all that. And my dad, God rest his soul, he always sat there and told me that back in 1976, he was going through the Pine Barrens in New Jersey and seeing the Jersey Devil. And I told him what it looked like. And it was described down to the T, the goat hooves and the horse head and the bat wings and all that. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. So I mean, we come from a very paranormal state. Like New Jersey is known for its, the Jersey Devil, the little unknown creatures that run through the Pine Barrens, because the Pine Barrens are very vast. And we have Clinton Road up in northern Jersey that you gotta have, I mean, dare I say, and forgive me for saying this, but balls of steel to drive down this road, because there's a whole bunch of spirits that have been, unalived and have gotten car wrecks, and, their spirits haven't left this road. I mean, trust me, you guys will love it. Look it up on YouTube, research it. It's really, really awesome. I think it's up in Essex County in New Jersey. So, yeah, like I said, New Jersey, we come from a very paranormal state. So,
Yeah, for sure. Sounds like it. Well, we appreciate you sharing that with us so much.
Thank you so much. And I just started following you, so I hope to see a lot more of your content. And thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good night.
You too. Very cool. All right, guys. We got a few people waiting. It always gets busy. This last hour gets wild, guys.
Hi.
Hello, welcome.
I have another relative story, and funny coincidence, it happened near Clinton, Wisconsin. So I don't have any firsthand experience with it, but when I was little, or just before I was born, my great-grandma passed away. And then, like a couple years later, my great-grandpa passed away. And so we moved into their house, and we lived there from when I was like 4 until I was 5-ish. And my sister, who was about 3 years older, would never let, like, my mom open her blinds in her bedroom. And she would be like, oh, there's this grumpy old lady who's like scowling at me through the window, and was like terrified of her. And she had met her when she was like a toddler. And then my mom like pulled out a photo book, and my sister's like, that's the lady that was in my window and scowling at me. And it was our great grandma. And then after we moved out, the house was vacant for a little while, and the kids that lived next door, so they like peeked through the window and saw like a little old lady vacuuming when like nobody was actually there. And then my mom was the librarian in town, and one day somebody came in and got a library card, and they were living at that address. And my mom was like, oh, we used to live there. That was my in-laws' old place. And the lady's like, so do you know of like this little old lady who used to like have dinner parties and stuff? And I was like, yeah, I mean, my husband's grandmother used to host parties because her husband was a big businessman and stuff. And the lady's like, yeah, she like still hosts those parties in our side room. We'll see her at night sometimes. And I don't know if she's still there, but
Oh, wow. That is really cool, actually.
yeah.
Wow.
I want to know how those parties went.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they saw like other people, or maybe they heard like people, I don't know, but they saw her like setting the table and stuff and chatting with people.
Wow, that is really cool.
Cool.
Well, thank you for coming up and sharing that with us. Do you have any other stories you want to share?
No, that was about it.
Okay.
I haven't heard any more about if she's still around or if people are seeing anything.
Yeah, well, if you do hear, you'll have to come back and update us. Let us know if anybody's seen her recently.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Very cool. Have you guys noticed we have had so many stories like that tonight? That is so cool.
Hmm.
It is Mother's Day.
That is true. It is Mother's
You
Day.
know, yes. Oh my God. I feel like something paranormal is happening right now. Like, oh my God. It's
It's
kind of
because
weird.
of the remembrance. So what I'm adding to two and two together, it's like when there's like an influx of just people's emotions out there and they're all like remembering, like, for example, Memorial Day, or even like, it's just a veil kind of like opens up in a way. Like, hey, you know, we're still here. Or we heard you. So it's like that, because some people may have had either positive or even negative, like, memories. So those memories kind of invoke some of those energies. Could be it.
Yeah, for sure. Um, all right, guys, we got about a little more than 15 minutes left in the show tonight. Um, and we are going back to our regular schedule, so we'll be here tomorrow night as well at 11 p.m. Eastern. So if you have a story that I saw somebody said that they had a story but they couldn't share right now. So if you do have a story that you're not able to share tonight, definitely tune in tomorrow night. Come and tell us about it. We go on at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can follow me, turn on live notifications, also turn on post notifications, but turn on live notifications and you'll get notified when I go live. So that way you won't forget, um, and come over and share your story with us. And I'll tell you, it's been fun doing the marathon stream this week, but I am ready for a break because I need to work on my book. So, and also I need to finish my videos. I've got a book, or a book. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I've got a video about a train tunnel demon coming up, and I love this story. It's so wild and just so cool. And you guys know I love demon stories. They're my favorite. And also have a Mothman video coming up. And it's not your average Mothman story. It's a little bit of backstory about Mothman's villain arc. So it's gonna be fun. And then what is my other one? I've got another one, but what was the other one? Holy cow, how do I not know this? Sorry guys. I'm old and sleepy. Um but yeah, I think sometimes my live audience forgets that I also make content. The ghost of Bessie Bartlett. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that. That's a cool story. And it also comes with a picture as well. So you guys will have to be sure to check those out. They are coming very, very soon. Um, so guest box is open, guys. If anybody wants to come up and share, definitely do that. We got about 15 minutes left in the show tonight. Um, you have a great demon story? Yeah, Etta, we would love to hear it. We would absolutely love to hear that. Um, oh, Tosh. Yeah. Oh, well, you don't, I mean, yeah, no, I get it. Like if you're sick, but I hope you feel better. But definitely don't be nervous coming up here because I always tell everybody, like, what's the worst thing that happens? If you come up and you get too nervous, you could just drop out and come back. Or you could be like, Sarah, can you ramble for a minute? And I'll just start rambling like crazy and you could just take a breather until you're ready to tell us your story. But I know what it's like to have anxiety with public speaking. So I totally get it. And it's kind of weird. It's like, how the hell do I do this if public speaking bothers me? I don't know. But see, I'm rambling right now, so you guys don't have anything to be shy about. We're just a bunch of wild and crazy nerdy kids here. That's all. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? Anything spooky happening lately? Anybody get to see the lights, the northern lights? I still didn't
I
get to see
did.
them.
I did. You still can. You can go outside and see them if you look up north.
In the north, yeah.
I think, yeah, I
Not
think
in-
they're probably not going to be visible here where I live. Apparently, that's what I keep hearing anyway. But
Oh, right. Yeah, I actually got some pretty nice pictures of them. They were blue for us.
oh wow,
Mhm.
that sounds cool.
Everybody's having this magical experience, and I'm over here. What am I doing? Actually, you know what? I had a magical experience. I was actually seeing a nice little movie with my family. So I did that today. Yeah, I am jealous. Like, I have only ever seen Northern Lights, and I had to, like, I remember in order to see them two times in my life, I've always had to travel. One time it was by, like, a happy mistake. Um, because I didn't know. Like, and, like, what was it? It was Montana, Wyoming at that time. We were just visiting. We were visiting one of the national parks. God, I can't remember it, but I look up at the sky and I'm like, wow. And it was like around, what was it, January, February? It was February. Yeah, because I realized it was cold, but it was like frozen, frozen. There was still snow on the ground. But that's when I saw it. And then one time it was, no, actually three times in my life. One time was in Canada, and the other time was in what was it? Oh my gosh, Viking Land, Sweden,
Norway. Oh,
Norway,
Sweden.
Sweden, Norway. Actually, I traveled the whole thing. Uh, went on to all of it.
Rota. Yep.
But yes, that one that was magical. That I liked a lot. That was really fun. It was a great experience. But the others were like happy surprise, and I was like, oh my! I live in Texas. Maybe I'm going to have this like awesome rare experience. And well, nope. Nothing. I look up at the sky, nothing. Sucks. Well, but other than that, things are eventful. And I see Chris is back.
He's back, but is he really back? Chris, are you really here with us? Give us
Sometimes
a
I kind of
sign of your
feel,
presence.
what if it's one of his figures, the things that he makes, or maybe he collected, if they're haunted or not.
Is
Yeah,
Chris in the
Chris.
room with us?
I was
I
like, is
think,
this Chris?
yeah, I think Chris is out for the count, for sure. But he's here with us in
In spirit.
spirit.
You're
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, he's here in avatar, or I don't know, in profile picture at least. So there's that.
Have we said doppelganger?
Yeah.
A mimic.
Oh gosh. We had a bunch of those stories tonight, I think. We had some
Mm-hmm.
mimic stories. Those are always exciting. I love those because I've experienced one too. So it's just super cool to hear one, you know. Because I just kind of always like I couldn't even believe myself. I was like, did that really happen to me? Holy cow! And yeah, I mean it did, but it doesn't feel real. That's the thing about the paranormal is like sometimes you'll have these really wild experiences, but it just won't feel real. So it's cool to hear other people share their versions or like their encounters that are similar. Um,
I haven't had a vampire story.
who had a vampire story?
Just me, apparently. Allegedly. I haven't heard one. Anybody else got out there had any run-ins with a vampire? Or a vampire-like creature? Or anything close to that folklore, please. Please come up here.
I feel like we had somebody. I wish Chris was awake so I could ask him, but I swear I think we had somebody one time. Um,
I'm trying to remember it. I feel like
I feel like
we
it was a really long time ago. Oh, you know what? I think Drac had one not that long ago, like during the marathon week. I'm pretty sure Drac shared one, but I haven't seen him in here for a little while, so I don't know. And he's not been on the Discord either, so I don't know what's up, if he's busy or whatever. But maybe if he shows up tomorrow, I'll try to remember to ask him because I feel like he had one. Um,
Lodge is here.
yeah.
We already got a Lodge story, didn't we?
Lodge did not come on tonight. I don't know if maybe he's busy or something. Um, but I'm thinking about I don't know, maybe I don't want to like pressure him into like coming up here, but if he doesn't want to come up here, we may go ahead and call it for the night because
No one else is there. Yeah.
yeah, it
We've
seems like
almost got
it's
you to 50K likes. I'm tapping at the screen trying to get you there.
I'll help you.
yeah.
I'm clapping too. Double fingers today. Oh, he said he can tell us a story if we want.
Yeah, if you want to,
There
Lodge.
we
Don't
go.
feel pressured, but yeah, for sure if you want to.
Ah, 50K, yes.
We got her there.
Lodge, get up here because we have to ask you about one of our previous stories.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you for bringing that back up, Cat Mama. I forgot.
Indeed.
Hey, Lodge.
Hey.
Hi, welcome.
So, what do you want to ask your question first, or should I just jump into the story?
So, Lodge, before you tell your story, we just want to get your point of view. We had a caller previously tonight who was living on the beach in the coastal areas of Oregon and California, and he said that he would see the ground move like humps, slow moving humps, and his dogs were like reacting to it, and it would like it would go, it would, it would move, and it would like move his stuff like maybe 6 or 4 inches up as the hump would go by and stuff. Have you heard of anything like that?
No, not anything paranormal, but I mean, I remember seeing some like videos like that. Something in nature. It happened in nature though, but nothing paranormal. Did he say there was a paranormal aspect to that?
He really didn't know what it was. That's why he came up to tell his story, and maybe if we had any input on it.
Yeah, I remember seeing something like that. I mean, even the trees were swaying. It was just like moving. Like, I don't know, like ripples, like waves. Like the ground had waves. I don't remember where I seen that. It wasn't like, it was like somewhere on YouTube or something like that. But I do remember something like that
Yeah,
happening.
I remember that kind of something about a video like that as well, and that's kind of what I was reflecting on when I was thinking of like root systems or something that was causing it.
Yes. The breathing forest is what it's called if you Google it. But the guy said that it wasn't anything like that because he said he had tried to Google it. And I mean, that was the only thing I could think of was the breathing forest. And he said it was nothing like that. So, and he said it wasn't ground moles either. But I'm gonna put the clip in the Discord because this story has baffled us so deeply that now we need answers and we all need to watch it again. So you'll be able to check it out tomorrow, probably.
All right. Yeah, so I guess I'll jump into the story here. So if anybody doesn't know me, I see Fuzzy Beans is commenting a lot. Well, I'm native. I'm Blackfeet from Montana, and this is where this story takes place. Is at the boarding school down there. This guy, he was when he was younger. His dad was the chief of the maintenance of the boarding school, and there's like a new boarding school built now, and they shut the old one down where I went to. The one that I attended is shut down. Spooky place. It's got a lot of stories with that place, and the just so you understand, like the boarding schools of today ain't nothing like the ones my grandpa and them went to. They weren't trying to like rob the culture of us or anything like that. It was a safe haven where kids go where their home life isn't safe. You could be safe down there to a point. It's like Lord of the Flies, man. You gotta fight. You gotta it's crazy, but it was a good experience for me growing up overall. I don't regret that going to that boarding school. But anyways, so there was this gym right near the boarding school, and if you see a picture of this place, it's like, man, it gives you the chills just looking at the place. It was really scary. So you have these stairs that lead up to the top. It's like the gym floor is actually the second floor because there's a basement that's only recessed about like halfway into the ground, right? Like halfway up the walls down in the basement is like ground level. So so you got to go up these steps, and then there's like another set of steps once you're inside the lobby area that go down to the locker rooms. And as you go into the gym and you cross through that lobby area and you stay on that main floor, second floor, if you will, you got to go across that. I don't know who designed this, but the breaker box to turn on all the lights are totally across the gym. And it's dark, like pitch black when you get to the other side of the gym. And at night, of course, it's pitch black. But like say during the day, it's like dark and then pitch black in that little room. You can see just the breaker box and you open it and you turn it on. And so we all took turns because we all wanted to play basketball, but nobody wanted to turn on the light. So we all took turns and it's, all right, whose turn is it now? It's his turn. No, I went yesterday, a little bit of arguments, and finally somebody would run down there and turn them on and then we'd all go in. Once you turn them on, it's those really old ones where it takes them a little while to warm up and then they get really bright. So even though they're flicked on, it's still really dim in there, but they're warming up and it'll start eventually shining some good light. So anyways, this guy, when he was younger, his dad was chief of maintenance there, and they got a call to fix something in the girls' bathroom there. And so they go in. He's just like tagging along with his dad. He's kind of young at this point. I want to say he's like, did he say he was like 9 or something like that at the time? And as they walk into the gym, they open the door and they walk in and they come on, let's go turn on these lights now. And they get around that little lobby to the next set of doors and they're walking into the gym. And as soon as they walked in to the gym, they heard like basketballs bouncing. So they get to the doors, there's no balls bouncing anywhere. And they're wondering like, what the hell was that? Whatever. So they start walking and they're about halfway down the gym and they notice this basketball is just floating in the air. All by itself. It's just suspended. They're floating. And they're kind of, his dad's looking at it, the boy sees it, and they really don't know what to do. They're just kind of paused, staring at this ball floating in the air. And they just decide, the heck with it, let's just go turn on the light. So we got to get this job done. We can't leave and just say, oh, there was a ball floating in there. We couldn't do the job, they had to do it. So they start walking in and they're looking at it as they're walking over to that little scary room to turn on the breaker box, and it's still floating there. And so they hit the light switch to turn it on. The ball drops out of midair, and when it hits the floor, it just pops. It's like a loud bang. It just popped, like blew up. And they're looking at each other, and they're scared, of course. He says, well, come on, let's just go get this job done. And so they go back through the gym. They go downstairs, and there's a door to the boys' locker room down there and a door to the girls' locker room down there / bathroom. And so they go down into the girls' part and they open the door and they start cleaning and everything. I mean, doing whatever they were supposed to do down there, whatever their job was, performing the maintenance on whatever it was. As soon as they get in there and start doing that, the door slams on them and they're freaking out at this point, and they just leave the door shut. The heck with it. They don't try to fool with the door, get distracted. They just want to hurry up, get that thing done, and get out of there. So they get it done, and they open the door, and they're going back upstairs, and they got to go back across that gym floor to turn off the lights, because that one breaker even turns on those bathroom lights down there. It's like one switch for the whole place. And so they're going back across there to turn out the lights, and as soon as they get into the gym, they see 2 balls floating in the air this time. Like, what the hell? And they're just like scared. They're really scared. So they go walking across the gym floor really fast, and they get to that room, and as soon as they flick the light switch off, because they're both looking at the breaker box at this point, and they shut the light off, they turn to run out, and those 2 basketballs are right in the doorway, blocking their way out. Just floating there. Just floating. And they're really, really freaked out, so they just kind of like skirt around them best they can, and as soon as they try to pass them, they fall, and both of those 2 balls blew up and just popped really loud bang. They start running. They've had it. They just start running, and as they're running out, they can hear like gym shoes, like people playing a game of basketball over there. They could just hear this whole basketball game going on right in the middle of the floor as they're running out. But they get out of the gym, they lock the doors, and they're done with the job, and that was that. But that was their experience that night when had to go over to that gym. See, when we went over there as kids, we would have to do chores, like details they called them. And one of the chores was cleaning the bathroom. That's why I made that slip and I said cleaning, because that's what we used to have to do down there. And I used to hate it because when you're down there, there's like, like two of you that take that one and then two take the boys' bathroom or something. I was always stuck in that girls' one for some reason, and I couldn't stand that place because yeah, there was two of us in there, but no, there was somebody else in there with us all the time. You couldn't see them or anything like that. Maybe we were scaring ourselves. Maybe I can just chalk it up to we're scaring ourselves, but that feeling only happened in that room. Like there was something in there with us. We didn't like it. We just cleaned as fast as we could, and we made sure we saved that detail for when there was at least some sort of sunlight. And we propped the doors open, and we were ready to run at any moment, though we just didn't like the place. But I never experienced anything down there like them, like the door slamming on you or anything like that. And another thing about that place is those, sorry, I'm gonna cuss, those sons of bitches, man. They used to close us in there when it was us little guys that had to turn the light out and run out at night. They would close us in there and laugh as we're pounding at the door trying to get out. I hated that. But see, that's what I'm saying. They used to raise hell with you. There was a lot of you had to have thick skin down there. But anyways, that's the story for tonight. So that's all I have.
That's awesome. I really love that one. So weird.
That was scary. Like the ball just popping. Who's there? Like, whoa.
Yeah, for sure.
It happened when I
Lodge,
was a kid.
yeah, thank you so much, Lodge, for telling us about that. That's really cool. I hate that Chris missed it. He would have liked that one, but he's asleep right now. He's here, but he's asleep.
He's
Yes,
listening
you're in
outside.
spirit.
But yeah, thank you for coming up and sharing that with us. I appreciate it.
I want to screenshot this for somebody screen record. I want to know. Chris needs to remember this.
Yeah.
If he has a
Yeah,
ghost
he's
story after this, would be nice.
bless his heart. He was so tired today. But he's here. He's such a trooper. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he made a Squidward video today. So you guys should definitely go check that out. Go watch Chris's Squidward video. All right, guys, it is that time. We are getting guest requests. I'm so sorry, guys, if you're in the guest box. We usually end at 2 a.m., so we got to call it for the night. But I appreciate you all so much for hanging out with us. We will be back tomorrow night, so if we didn't get to your story tonight, be sure to come back tomorrow night. We'll be here at 11 p.m. Eastern to 2 a.m. And then you can hop on and share with us. Usually from 11 to midnight, it's slow. So if you want to share something, that's the best time to come and pop into the chat. But we appreciate you all so much for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for hanging out with me up on the panel. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow night. And thank you to all the guests and all the awesome stories. And definitely check the Discord if you want to see a replay of that really wild ground story, because I'm not even clip that tonight. I'm exhausted, but I kind of want to hear it again. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.